At the Okoli Law Group, we specialize in producing justice. If you or a loved one in the Atlanta metro area is facing serious criminal charges, then you need serious legal representation.
The Okoli Law Group is here for you. The Okoli Law Group is here for us.
The Okoli Law Group, serious legal representation.
Navigating through this spiritual journey is challenging. Healers need healers, trainers need trainers, and leaders need leaders too. If you're looking for a space that offers Reiki healing, emotional mastery, chakra healing, and even one-on-one spiritual consultation, visit us at todayswellness.com. Get all your spiritual needs met and just have someone you can actually talk to. Because whatever it is that you are seeking is also within you.
Peace, family. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Do me a favor, hit that like button again. Please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe, y'all. It's been a minute. I don't think I've been live in like 4 days. And before that, I didn't go live while I was traveling in Nigeria. So happy to be back. Did y'all watch my first of all, did you guys watch my dogs? Did you guys watch my dogs dominate? Did you guys watch my bulldogs? Go dogs. Did you guys watch them dominate this past Saturday? Yes, Saturday. Clemson. We got in that you know what pause. We got in that you know what pause. Y'all, them dogs looking good. Them dogs are looking good. So if you guys didn't watch my dogs, you know, go back and watch the replay and go watch the highlights because that was a session. Now, the first half, I ain't gonna lie, it was kind of slow. But we came back out there that second half and we beat the brakes out the Cleveland Tigers. What's crazy, guys, if you guys don't know, I'm UGA alumni. I played football, ran track at UGA. And Clemson is only like an hour drive from, guys, I got a boo-boo on my arm. Clemson is only like an hour drive from, whatchamacallit, from Athens, from Georgia. It's only like an hour drive. But we never really hung out in Clemson, which is odd. Like, I only been to Clemson like once or twice. Well, for sure one time, and that was for a track meet. You know, we played Clemson one year as well. But I was there for, you know, really for a track meet. But we would just come kick it in Atlanta, you know. So we was always in Atlanta. But yeah, them dogs look good. Walt, listen, Oklahoma ain't gonna do nothing, Walt. Oklahoma isn't going to do anything, all right? This is SEC football, baby. This ain't no two-hand touch Big 12 football that y'all used to. All right, this is you in the big leagues now. You with the big boys. All right, again, this ain't no two-hand touch, you know, patty cake, powder puff football that y'all used to in the Big 12. This is big boy football, all right, in SEC. So Boomer Sooner all you want to. Y'all about to be the new Vanderbilt. Oklahoma's going to be the Vanderbilt, all right? In fact, y'all might lose the Vanderbilt, okay? Vanderbilt's like, thank God Oklahoma came to the league because now we ain't going to be at the bottom no more. Now it's going to be Oklahoma, Boomer Sooner. Yeah, so whatever, Boomer Sooner, whatever. But everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, and subscribe. Got a couple of announcements. Announcement number one, excuse me. Bam. Y'all, we are rolling. All right, I'm gonna get into that. We're gonna get into the Black Caucus. And real quick, oh, we got these new. Hold on, let me do this. There we go. Let me share the screen. Like I like the little circle. I like the circle. Here we go. Y'all, we're rolling to. Actually, we're rolling to Zanzibar. We're rolling to Zanzibar. In a couple weeks, less than 3 weeks. If you are a last minute person, you're just like, listen, Dynas, I gotta get away. I want to get away, Dynas. I want to go to Zanzibar. I want to go to Zanzibar. Please visit donfo.africa. Again, if you want to get away, if you want to roll to Zanzibar last minute, if you want to go to Zanzibar last minute, visit donfo.africa, September 22nd to October 1st. So we're rolling to Zanzibar, September 22nd to October 1st. Then the citizenship ceremony celebration has not been officially announced by the government yet, but we had a couple meetings a couple weeks ago where we should be getting the announcement any day now, right? For citizenship conferment. So if you're interested in joining us, please visit Donfo, that's DANFO. Please visit Donfo, that's DANFO .Africa to learn more. Would love to have all of you all. Would love for you guys to join us in Africa. Also, we're going to Benin Republic. We're rolling to Benin Republic January 3rd through the 12th for the Voodoo Festival. Then we're going to Sierra Leone in April for sure, no matter what. April 20th through the 29th. Then we're going to Senegal for the Jazz Festival. That's going to be June 1st through the 10th. Then back to Nigeria, Oshun Festival, August 3rd through the 12th. And then after that, we're I'm thinking Namibia in October. There's a jazz festival in Namibia in Windhoek. So I'm considering doing that in October. I'm not sure yet. It's kind of up in the air. So we don't know yet, but yeah, but that's what we're doing. Visit donfo.africa to learn more. Once again, we'll love to have you guys join us in Africa on one of our trips. We're going to have an excellent time. We're going to have a fun time. We're going to have a splendid time. So yeah, there it is. Well, let me switch back to the regular. There we go. The regular joint. There we go. I'm going to put the link in the chat room here in about 15, 20 minutes. You are more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation. Again, you are more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation. Today's topic, we're going to be discussing the reparations bill, our study. They like to call them studies. There's reparations study, that was taking place in California, which, is like, you already know when they're not serious about reparations, when it has to be a study. Like, everybody's aware of what happened. Everybody's aware of the historical discrimination, prejudice against Black people in America. That is not, give me 1 second. My son, his mom's here to pick him up, so he's about to leave. So he's a big boy now. So the whatchamacallit, the studies angle is nothing but a stalling tactic in the name of our brother Holipsism, a Negro stalling tactic. They were never serious about giving you guys reparations, period. End of discussion. Hard stop. Ain't gonna be no payouts. All right, ain't no checks being cashed. All right, none of that is happening. Perhaps blacks in California could gain inspiration from blacks in other states. What inspiration? What's inspiring? Black folk, I was saying this about black people in California at the very least. They were able to advance it this far. All right, master's gone. Yeah, when you say inspiration, what do you mean inspiration? To give credit where credit is due, at least black people were able to advance it this far. No other black group of people were able to do this in any other state, period. So you got to give them credit. But these folks were never serious about giving you anything, period. So now, they're like, what are we going to do? Okay, we'll just pretty much stall it and won't advance it. That's coming from the Black Caucus. So what's next? And of course, you got black people who are threatening the Black Caucus with, hey, we're not going to vote for you. But okay, you don't vote. Who are you going to replace? The Black Caucus members. Who are you going to replace them with? See, what you have to understand, the Black Caucus's base is largely white and Hispanic. It's not black folks. The Black Caucus is operating in the best interest of Hispanic folks. That's their base now. The Hispanic community, that is their base for the Black Caucus. They need the Hispanic vote more than the black vote at this point. The black vote in Cali ain't swinging nothing. The black vote in Cali now is obsolete. And the reason why I use this for the cover pick, or whatever you want to call it, why I use the last black man in San Francisco as that pick, is because black folks in California are going extinct. Look up the numbers. Look at the numbers of black people, the population of black people in San Francisco, we'll say 30, 20, 30, 40 years ago. Look at it now. Same thing with LA. In fact, let me find this article. Hold on. There was actually an article about black people going extinct in LA. Like, where are the black folks at? It's been the black population in Los Angeles is not extinct, but it has been declining since 2017. In fact, let's look at this article real quick. Nearly 75,000 black Californians left the state in 2018. I'll say there's more black folks leaving than coming. I don't hear people, even actors and actresses. I don't hear people saying, you know what, man, I'm gonna pack my bags and move to California. Like, we don't hear that anymore. In 2008, when I was here in Georgia, I left because I wanted to chase the Hollywood dream or Hollywood stars. There were other actors and actresses in Atlanta at the time that were saying the same thing. Black actors and actresses. I don't see that anymore. I don't hear black folks talking about moving to Cali. More black folks are moving out this way: Texas, Georgia, Florida. But let me it was interesting. Like you can't blame Donald Trump for this one. Like you can't blame Donald Trump. You can't blame the Republican Party. These were black folks. These were black folks that said, hey, we got to put a halt to this. Not the white supremacists, not the Republicans, not Donald Trump. This was the Black Caucus who black folks voted for. This is the Black Caucus. Where's Maxine? Has anybody heard from Maxine Waters in regards to reparations? Has anybody heard from Maxine Waters in regards to this reparations bill? See, y'all was, reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time. Oh, we gonna reclaim my time. Yeah, but Mojo, the numbers are down. That's just the facts of it. Black California, the numbers have declined greatly. That's just the facts. Where's Maxine Waters at? Reclaiming my time. And that's the thing. You guys vote for slogans, not substance. You guys vote for symbology, not substance. That's the thing. That's the problem. The existential erosion of Black Los Angeles. Outmigration, gentrification, expensive housing has had a significant effect in the last American city of dreams. And the majority of this is self-inflicted. This is what you guys voted for, especially the migration part. This is what you guys voted for. On Saturday, Juneteenth weekend, the city of Los Angeles held a ribbon cutting to acknowledge a key part of its Black history. Mayor Karen Bass and a host of other Black dignitaries, including Kareem. Has anybody heard from Karen Bass in regards to the reparations bill? Has anybody heard from Karen Bass, Maxine Waters, Reclaim My Time, Kamala Harris? Have y'all heard from Kamala Harris? How can we blame Trump for this? Maxine Waters is part of the Black Caucus in California. Maxine Waters is in office in California. The Black Caucus is the one that said we got to put a stall to this. Maxine Waters is part of the Black Caucus. Donald Trump didn't do this. This ain't Donald Trump's fault. You can't blame the Republicans. Now, I know Joy Reid is probably going to try and spin it. That she does to try to blame Donald Trump. But have y'all heard from Kamala Harris? Y'all raised between black men and black women, y'all raised over like $4 or $5 million for Kamala Harris. But then when it comes to an issue directly affecting the black community, she ain't nowhere to be found. On Saturday of Juneteenth weekend, the city of Los Angeles held a ribbon cutting to acknowledge a key part of its Black history. Mayor Karen Bass and a host of other Black dignitaries, including Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and LaToya Cantrell. The mayor of New Orleans stood on an outdoor stage to christen the 7-block stretch of Jefferson Boulevard between 3rd and 10th Avenues. As New Orleans corridor for my family and many others, the designation was long after due. Starting in the 50s, Jefferson was the cultural and commercial hub for Black immigrants from Louisiana, notably Creoles from New Orleans' 7th Ward. The boulevard featured everything from a barbershop to a bakery to eateries such as Harold's and Bell's. Harold's and Bell's, I think, is still there, unless it closed down. But yeah, Harold and Bell's is still there, I believe. Oh, it was there when I was there. This event was also personal for me. My father, Larry Aubrey, was a career racial justice advocate whose family hailed from segregated New Orleans, as did my mother's. My uncle Leon owned Aubrey's barbershop, and my cousin co-owns Harold and Bell's. After the dedication, the crowd, many of whom wore Mardi Gras beads or waved fancy umbrellas, sashayed the mile to Harold and Bell's in the traditional second line, accompanied by a lively New Orleans-style brass band. It was joyous, spontaneous affirmation of family history and community. Yet there's also a confirmation of the fact that, with the exception of Harold and Bell's, there is no New Orleans scene here anymore. Okay, so Harold and Bell's is still there. In our celebratory dance down the corridor, we passed the Louisiana-themed business. It hit me. The scene we were there to venerate was a thing of the past and has been for some time. This was more like a funeral, a true second line in Louisiana tradition. We had gathered not to laud the present or extol the future, but memorialize the past. It hit me. The scene we were there to venerate was a thing of the past and has been for some time. Black LA is not entirely in the past, but it is vanishing. This is not news. The erosion has been happening for decades. For many reasons, huge demographic shifts that have resulted in the percentage of Black residents dropping from a high of roughly 20% in the 70s to under 8% today. Wow. Blackout migration to suburbs and out of the state, and lately gentrification in a ruthlessly expensive housing market that has made living here particularly difficult for Black folks. Consider the fact that the homeless population is fully 50% Black. Ironically, the erosion is accelerating just as racial justice finally on the political agenda. In a way, it hasn't been since the 60s. Thanks to the explosion of racial consciousness following the murder of George Floyd in 2020, we lost more from Black Lives Matter. Again, we lost more with Black Lives Matters than we gained. Prove me wrong. 2020, and the mainstreaming of the idea that the Black Lives Matter, but a renewal racial consciousness alone has not reversed the trend. Black erosion is like climate change. That what has been underway for a long time, but seemed abstract, is suddenly visible and real in a way it had not been before. Nowadays, it can see and feel that the wide open Los Angeles that my clan moved from Louisiana is no more. Here, where Black people once sought to make space for themselves, to put down roots and make inroads never made before in the last big American city of dreams, they are now simply trying to survive. Surviving, staying put is not easy. Like everything else, it's become a luxury. The clearest evidence of erosion is how South Central, once synonymous with Black life, has gone from being chiefly Black to overwhelmingly Latino. I mean, this is what you guys voted for. This is what you guys voted for. The demographics are shifted not just in LA proper, but in the cities and regions such as Watts, Linwood, Compton, increasingly Inglewood. South Central itself has gone from being 80% Black in 1970 to more than 2/3 Latino. Watts, the site of historic Black rebellion in 65, is now 70% Latino. This wouldn't be a calamity if Black people were graduating out of these neighborhoods into more prosperous ones. The usual immigrant trajectory over generations, and while this happened to a degree, it has not happened nearly enough. The dramatic Latino expansion means Black people in South Central and elsewhere have lost community and everything connected with it. Political representation, schools, businesses, public places, we have grown poor in more ways than one. This does not mean Latinos are to blame for our losses, but their steady growth has put the crisis of Black erosion in sharper and sharper relief. We can't blame Latinos when this is what Black folks is voting for. All right. The Democratic Party, the Black Caucus have made it clear that their loyalty is not to the Black community. But in some ways, Latino growth is an existential distraction from the real, more practical crisis, lack of jobs. Manuel Pastor, a professor of sociology, American studies, and ethnicity at USC, says the steady disappearance of working to middle-class jobs, the growth that drew Black people here in the first place, is what has truly destabilized Black communities and fueled Black erosion over time. The decline in these jobs began more than 50 years ago when LA's core started to deindustrialize and shed big private employers like Firestone and General Motors. Excuse me. The automation of well-paying jobs at the Port of Los Angeles and Long Beach hasn't helped. Pastors likes to point out that a historic Watts tax concert in 1972, Black people had the discretionary income to buy tickets and fill the 100,000 seat Coliseum capacity. A symbol of what in retrospect were the boom times. The drying up of jobs coincided with the rise of gangs, the crack epidemic, and disinvestment in public schools and the public sector generally. And of course, the rise of immigration. Pastor is one of very few Latino public figures who talks frankly about how the demographic change impacted Black people. Something addressed in South Central Dreams, finding home and building community in South LA. So like I said, the base now, the base now, right, for the Black Caucus, especially on the West Coast, is not Black folks, it's Latinos. That's their base now. That's who they have to cater to. Black politicians no longer have to cater to Black folks in California, period. That's why I say the Black vote in California has absolutely no sway or no power. Again, that is why I say the Black vote in California has no power. Your own Black elected officials are more concerned about that Latino vote than they are that Black vote. Still, even with the erosion, Givens says there are enough Black people in LA to have a district, but that would require 2 Black representatives to consolidate, which isn't likely to happen because Givens knows dryly they want to hold on to individual power. It's against their own personal interest. There you go. Y'all, somebody said Kendrick Lamar will come to the rescue. Okay. All right. Good luck with that. Somebody said Kendrick Lamar is coming to the rescue. Mm. That's important. There are no majority Black districts here. Even though we have Black elected officials, we're still on the Black bus. There we go. Like I said, and I've been saying this now for some years. You know, I left LA in 2014, and I already saw the direction it was going in. Here we go. Pastor partially places the blame for black erosion of politics, specifically on the state's Democratic Party. There we go. For taking black voters for granted while never seriously addressing their crisis. Damn, no, I'm trying not to cuss, but I want to say a cuss word. No SH, fill in the blank T. Again, no SH, fill in the blank T. They don't take you, your black politicians, the Democratic Party does not take you guys serious because you guys don't demand anything in exchange for your vote. There it is right there. Said beautifully. Pastor partially places the blame for black erosion on politics, specifically on the state's Democratic Party for taking black voters for granted while never seriously addressing their crisis. Black folks don't address their crisis to the black politicians they vote for. So why should the Democratic Party take their crisis seriously? I'm not mad. Dermot Givens, a lawyer and veteran campaign consultant, says that it is actually worse than that. Starting around 1980, he says Democrats broke up black voting blocks to increase its strength in then GOP districts and turned the state reliably blue. Would this be considered gerrymandering? Would that be considered gerrymandering? Would that be considered gerrymandering? It worked, but black people paid the price of representation with coalition politics that may have sounded equitable. Black and brown coalition, which is vague and abstract, but in reality undercut their power. Man, this article is brilliant. We've been saying this for years, and this is nicely written. Given says that has to be reversed. It's too late. It's too late. It's too late. In California, it's too late. Hopefully, folks in Chicago wake up, but in California, it's too late. When you look at the South, at Alabama, for instance, black folks are saying we need majority black districts to elect black folks. He says it's the opposite of California. In California, there are no majority black districts here, even though we've had black elected officials. We're still on the back of the bus. Oh well. Guys, I'm gonna put the link in the chat room because this is a long article. Guys, I'm gonna put the link in the chat room. If you guys want to call in and add to the conversation, you're more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation. I'm also going to share this article on my Facebook page real quick. But this is what we've been saying for years. It's too California. It's too late in California. It's too late in California. There's no coming back from this in California. It's too late. Let me share this real quick. I'm gonna bring you on. Okay, I shared that. Let me. Thanos, go ahead.
Yeah, what's up, Dennis? Thanks for having me on. Yeah, like I said, I've been telling on my show that this the problem is when you go through what Black America went through, the Jews went through, everything, you got a short window of opportunity, what they call social credit. Okay, because you have the empathy and the sympathy and the benefit of the doubt of the world, right? People ready to right what was wrong, through guilt and just doing wanting to do the right thing. That's all human beings, right? But that only lasts for so long. What happened was our social credit was used up by black politicians for selfish reasons. Look at how we have people like Al Sharpton. He should be nowhere. Well, how is he on a show on NBC? He's using up some of that black social capital, social credit. Barack Obama got elected. He goes around talking about, oh yeah, I believe in hope and change and a colorblind society. But let's be honest with ourselves. Yeah, he got elected because there was a large number of white people who felt like this could right the wrongs of slavery, having a black family in the White House. So all this stuff that's happening, like right, they're trying to do with Kamala. There's white people who vote for her because they think this is going to end racism, whatever. So therefore, what I'm saying is we don't get the benefit from what was right for our entitlement, which was basically our social credit. And Israel, the Jews, what happened to them in the Holocaust, right? What they spend their social credit on? Helping establish the state of Israel. And so that's what happened in Black America right now. We're not no longer black anymore. We're Democrats.
Mm. Kyle, how do you think how do you think the election's going to play out?
Well, I tell you this, right? If
In fact, you're in Virginia. They're saying Virginia might, is a swing state now. Like it might go red, it might go blue. What are your thoughts?
I really think Trump won the last time in Virginia. To tell you the truth, I'm live here. I know these people, right? And I don't see any strong Biden or anything like that here. Everybody hates this guy, man. I mean, really, they hate. I seen this one guy. He had a thing in his back of his truck. Says "fuck Joe Biden." When I pull up beside him, I looked at him. I saw bust up laughing. He said, "You like that, huh?" I said, "Yeah, man, that's pretty funny." I forgot what it was said, but it was fucking hilarious. It was like that Brandon thing. Fuck Brandon, whatever, like that. He said whatever. So I pull up beside him in the light. He was like, "Yeah, you think that's funny, right?" I said, "Yeah, it's hilarious." Yeah, these people are out here. Virginia's a redneck state, you know, and blacknecks. Black people out here just very, very blackneckish, and white people are redneckish. These are the friggin' people of the land. But like I was telling Elvis last night, he's another one. Oh yeah, Kamala. If I think Trump has it, but for some reason she wins, man, this country is finished. Black America's finished. Because you know what that's saying? It's the message will be forever that you don't have to campaign for black vote. They're gonna give it to you anyway. So there's no incentive to do it. So if Kamala wins, Black America as a political voice is completely gone.
Kyle, what do you think about the reparations situation in California?
I told people all the time they're wasting their time. They're wasting their time on reparations. That's only way they're doing that is just to string black people. See, the whole thing is, Dinus, white people will have a way to make you interested in the political system. They look at social media, they hear us talk about reparations, so that's the only way. Next thing you know, hear Jim Clyburn saying about reparations, and they'll get what the white people say. Yo, you get the joke, right? We're not saying about reparations, but that's how we get them to come out to vote. That's all it's all about. They're not serious about giving no reparations and everything. Because the moment you get serious about getting reparations, you're gonna lose like 90% of the white vote. They're not gonna risk that. So because black people have built up social capital, on foolishness.
Well, Kyle, and that's my point at the Black Caucus. Like their base now is Hispanic, not black.
Yeah.
So
Bottom line is black people don't matter. They say Black Lives Matter. Black votes don't matter. Nothing matters in Black America anymore. That's just the truth. Trump wins, you could reset the whole political system. Then the Democrats got to come back and find a reason to build with black people, or black people can build with the Republicans. It should be balanced there. But right now, the way it's going right now, our vote elected this guy Joe Biden. You see Joe Biden, that one thing with Bill Porter on that, how he looked at that Juneteenth thing in the White House.
yeah, like a walking corpse.
You know,
Excuse me. I'm just saying, yeah.
I saw that when he was running. Right? I said, how is it that I'm intelligent, I'm smart, everything like that, but I know there's smarter people than me. How is it that I'm seeing on MSNBC, this guy is so presidential, the adults are back in the room? What the hell was they saying? They were lying. You got the media that lies to, and it's really scary right now because if they could lie about something like this, what else are they lying about? See, this is what we're after. Now, if they convince the American people to go against Donald Trump, that means this country's finished, really finished. We are now in a one world government, globalist, new world order society. That's what a lot of black immigrants and immigrants in general like. They want America to lose its sovereignty so they can come over here and rape this country for benefits. Elvis believes that coming across the border and busting into America is seeking asylum, and that's legal. So it's legal to break into somebody's country. Just because you claim asylum. This is what I'm talking about. And you keep this stays up, man. Sooner or later, the people are right. Already in Colorado, you got the Hell's Angels are going there to deal with these.
Hey, are they headed to the Colorado for real? The Hell's Angels?
Colorado, the Hell's Angels. The black gangs ain't gonna do that. The Hell's Angels. Now that some other these white biker gangs are going out there. It's like like I told these people, like I told your boy, what's his name, Delroy. You don't know people like you know them. If you think they're gonna roll over and let these people just take over this country and whatnot, you are sadly mistaken. Yeah, with the police and law enforcement, yeah, that looks good, but you can still got rednecks in this country. Rednecks that will kill you.
Mm.
Go to war with you inside this country. So yeah, health is out there now. And so this is interesting to see how it's gonna play out.
Well, that hasn't been completely verified yet.
But they're on their way. They're on their way or they're there. One of those two.
Yeah, that they're going to go, but that's going to be interesting. But you made a great point, Colin. Like the black gangs aren't doing nothing.
The black gangs only good at intimidating and scaring other black people. That's all they're good at. When I did club security, right? If you got a good security team or a club security team, they fear you. Why? Because they know we'll take it to them if they ever get out of line. Black gangs don't do nothing against somebody if they don't got the gun drop on them with the gun, or they can intimidate you and stuff like that. That's all they do. They're nothing. They ain't got the heart. All they know how to do is make you afraid of them. That's all they know how to do. They don't know how to do anything else. So they don't protect their community. Gangs are supposed to protect their community. Really, when it comes down to on the street level, black gangs don't do that. They prey on their community. So everything, like I said, just like a big bonfire of the vanities.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the gangs aren't as tough as we thought they were. Nope, I told you that. The Democrats don't give a shit about us. Nope, I told you about that. Everything I predicted come to pass. I must be Thanos for real. Everything I predicted coming to pass.
Guys, links in the chat room. If you want to call in and add to the conversation, you're more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation. But Colin, so at the scene on, I think it was yesterday or Saturday when the Black Caucus pretty much said, we're going to stall the reparations bill, and black folks were saying, oh, we gonna vote you out of office. We gonna vote you out of office. Like it vote for who?
Yeah, the Black Caucus is like, we don't need your votes. So where are you going to go to? They know you got a short attention span. They said, we'll wait till football season kickoffs and y'all Negroes will be distracted, That's all. They know black people. You ain't got no will to do anything. You have the will to boycott, whatever. And also, like I said, Newsom said that when we talk about reparations, it's just a study. It's not anything about giving over. This is another thing, Daniel, I want to talk about on this air. And I'm not trying to be funny, not trying to be funny whatsoever, But black people, white people are going into this reparations thing like maybe we could build STEM schools and stuff like that in the long term and the outcome, right? And delayed gratification. I talked about delayed gratification, right? That's how white people think. In a 20-year period of time, that's why black people didn't think any value in when Trump was talking about helping black HBCUs. Black people want instant gratification. They want you to cut the check, and you got a lot of dusty Negroes going up there talking about, I don't care about no no goddamn schooling, and I don't give a goddamn about the future. They don't care about their kids like other people do. They just want to check so they can go out to the mall and shopping and get some new rims and eat some lobster and whatnot. That's what they're thinking. They're thinking, oh, if I get that check, I'll be sure. Maybe Quisha will go out with me Saturday night. That's the Negro mindset. Like I said, I got a PhD in Negroology. You know, and so that's what it is. Black people have one thing. White people will talk about reparations or talk about maybe we could build institutions. Black people, maybe we could do enterprise zones and stuff like long term stuff like this. Black people are thinking, yes, we're gonna we need to cut the check. You know, Jay says his call stop the lying, man. See, people like him, man, his mind's exploded. He just heard truth for a while, and he can't take it. You know. He says, I've seen a black gang member from Chicago on YouTube complain about, yeah, he was crying. Yeah, he was crying. Crying about, I hope Trump gives us power to deal with these clowns, man. Black gangs are the definition of deadly clowns. When I came up with the deadly clowns concept, because I worked in club security, you know, that's when I came up with the term deadly clowns, man, you know? So.
Yes, sir. All right, go ahead, Dre.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Go ahead.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, of course, we know the Democrats had blocked, the California reparations bill that they, had. But my thing with this whole thing is that I think it should be done on the federal level, if you ask me. I don't think that this should even be state because, a lot of issues might come into play as far as like budgets and things like that. But it is feasible.
They don't have budgets at a federal level?
Yeah, they have budgets at a federal level. I think a much bigger budget on the federal level
Hey,
that can get this done.
Let me guess. You're a millennial, right? You're a young guy. You're a millennial, right?
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, you have to understand, man. Don't take this the wrong way, man. Every time you guys start talking like this, you guys sound foolish. You don't have any reference of a history. You don't know how the government works. You don't know how the world works. They're not going to give you no money. As simple as that. Once you get that out of your head and everything, you can figure out something new. Let me give you a perfect example I'm talking about. The United States government does $900 billion a year worth of goods and services with the general public. That means if you want to be on the list to supply the government or do service for the government, there's $900 billion a year that the government uses to purchase from the public, right? I tried to do that years ago when I wanted to have my own wholesale.
Hey, let me ask Dre a question real quick. But Dre, are you guys demanding Well, Kamala Harris herself said that she ain't doing nothing for black folks anyways. But with that being said, are you guys demanding reparations on a federal level from Joe Biden, who's in office now, or Kamala Harris?
Now, according to what ADOS is doing at the moment, I mean, they're saying that they would like to see an executive order regarding that. But, of course, we know that's not going to happen. But what I'm saying, even the comment you made about Kamala not supporting reparations, I think is kind of out of context in a way, because she did say she supports reparations. It's just that with that one line, people took it out of context and made it seem as if she was just anti-black or whatever, or anti-black reparations.
No reparations. She did. She knows she would lose the election, bro.
She said what will benefit black people will benefit everyone.
Only 12% of the population. If she says something like, I'm going to take hardworking money from hardworking taxpaying white people in America, and the white people already got the perception that we're just lazy bums sitting around waiting for a check. We're not. If she does that, there's going to be like a war in this country. And black people, whatever social credit we have will be completely gone.
But Dre, how do you misinterpret that? She specifically says she's not doing nothing specifically for black people. Like how's that?
Well, see, I think a lot of times y'all take an excerpt of a clip and then y'all misinterpret all of the
Dre, we listen to. Hold on, Colin. Hold on, Dre. We listen. I play that whole entire interview all the time. Like, what do you take out of context? Like, how is it taken out of context?
Because what she said specifically is that she supports it. It's just that she believes that what would benefit black people will benefit everybody. So
she said what will benefit everybody, benefit black people. But what does that have to do for reparations specifically for black people?
She's trying to piecemeal it and trying to make it inclusive for everyone. That's the thing. I don't
Oh,
agree with.
how do you make
bro.
reparations inclusive? Oh,
That's
goodness.
how we got
And
to
she
the
also
first.
did a Breakfast Club interview. She did a Breakfast Club interview with Charlemagne and said that she supports it and she feels like she could, target the areas that Black people are failing in
Believe that, right? You know
more
why?
so
She helped
than.
the community.
Hey,
Like,
Colin, Let me pass
no,
it to D. Let me pass it to D. And you went real low. We can barely hear you, Colin. D Toto Kisser, go ahead.
Man, so first of all, man, shout out to your platform, man. You know what I'm saying? I watched the videos of you over there in Nigeria, you know what I'm saying, over there in the, at the river. I hope you didn't drink none of that nasty ass water. People put their feet in and shit.
I
Talking about
did.
spiritual.
I took a sip.
Hey,
I took a
Dinas,
sip.
Dinas, go get you some Pepto Bismol
I'm fine.
right now. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
good. I'm good. I do it every
Hey,
year.
Hey,
Go ahead.
yeah, check it out, man. But you know what I'm saying? I still like what you're doing over there, man, showing people different. It seems like people are having a great time on your tours, man. So I hope more people, um, uh, participate in more life and more good times with you and your tours, man. Shout out to Kala on the platform, man. I'm not even gonna you know what? This is the thing. Leandre was on Brandon's platform yesterday and sounding like a clown. Man, he sounded like the baby sister of Elvis, lion ass Liberian Elvis, man. But the only
Why you
thing
gotta
is he's
use personal attacks
only thing
against me,
about it, bro. Nobody interrupted you, sugar boy, when you was talking.
bro? What are we
Listen,
talking about,
this
my
is the
guy? You
thing.
sound like a
This is
fucking
the
fool, my
thing
dude.
yesterday. This is the thing yesterday. Do you know Kyla and Dinah's? This clown don't even know that the bills have to go through Congress to get signed. He thought that the president made bills. This guy's not even politically savvy. He was literally on the platform yesterday yelling at Brandon, saying that no, the president, bro, can I finish talking? I know you're emotional and you feminine, but can you let me finish talking? This clown was on there yesterday, you know what I'm saying, agreeing with another female, you know what I'm saying? Because you can tell these Zeta Phi Beta stick together, you know what I'm saying? He was on there yesterday saying that the president can make an executive order to make a bill. These are the people that coming on these platforms talking, making us look bad. He don't even understand basic supply and demand. You can't give no group of people $1 trillion. See, you can send money to another country, you know what I'm saying, we'll put the loan, even with the war going on with Ukraine. I'm not gonna sit up there and act like other people say that Joe Biden's just giving that money, because some of that money a lot of that money is based on loans. They giving loans to these countries. They giving provisions to the point, like if they rebuild it, they get to take over some of the port, they get to do business. So it's not just free money that they're giving away to Ukraine. Some of the items that they're giving away for us, the military, it's old equipment. These Ukrainians over there blowing up old F-16s. The military don't even use F-16s no more, Diners, unless it's in a parade or something. So they getting them, they doing it as an investment, because they just wouldn't give it away, because that's already bad for politics, because most people don't agree with giving that money, giving free money in Ukraine. So when you see what's going on with the board and everything, and they support Kamala Harris, this is the play that Black people will support their own demise, thinking that somebody gonna give them free money. It's the weirdest thing in the world that we sit up here talking about reparations and knowing that white people, is nowhere in the world that white people went over there on a slave ship, brought us over there, brought us back over here, worked the shit out of us for 500 years, released us, released Jim Crow on us, released segregation on us, and then gonna turn around and give us $23 trillion. Why would they give us $23 trillion and we vote for the party that's the original party of the slaves, which is the slave master, which is the Democratic Party, 86 to 96%? Why would they have to
Have you heard
give
of the
you
Southern
anything?
strategy?
So,
Have you
boy,
heard of the Southern strategy?
can you please stop acting like the hoe that raised you? Can
Have
you
you
please stop
heard
acting
of
like
the
the
Southern
hoe
strategy
that
that
raised you,
changed
boy?
that
I
whole
know
game,
you
that ball game?
feminine. I know you feminine. But
Nigga,
can
you
you
always
please?
come up
Nobody,
with something and say,
nobody
bro, you
asks
are
you
a fuck
nothing.
boy.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
are a
I swear,
motherfucking fuck
bro.
boy.
I
You
swear,
need
bro.
to
You
go on
act
somewhere
like
and
the
stop
female that
putting
All
other
right,
raised
all
you,
black
right, all right,
people
bro.
y'all. Listen,
out
listen.
of there.
Let's chill. Come on, let's be nice, y'all. Be nice.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm saying is that when it comes to the politics of it, of the black people, why do you think they call black people low information voters? This is why they call us, because they give you something. It's just like a dog. You give a small dog something to play with in the corner, and then he forget about you give him some bologna or something for him to stick in his ass like Leandre, and then he over there playing in the corner. He ain't seeing none of the other stuff that's going on. You're not worrying about the 14 million Latinos that come across the border. You're not worrying about the laws that they doing for Asian Americans. You're not seeing how they setting up these Latinos to win. You're not seeing that they got lawyers on the border. You know what I'm saying? When these people cross over, you don't see that they helping them to outnumber us. Now we're the third minority, Dinus. We're the third minority. And these black folks still talking about what white people gonna give them. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna stay on that for the next. They gave black people like Leandre and the rest of them 10 years. They're gonna be talking about this for 10 years, talking about you can give them $1 trillion. They don't understand inflation. Think about it like this, Donnie. If they gave black people $1 trillion, then a crystal hamburger, would be $20 a burger. You know what I'm saying? A drink in the store would be $100. Do you get what I'm saying? They don't even grasp the concept. And then on top of that, the taxes, because it's not earned income, the tax on it would be 38 to 43%. It would be just like hitting the lottery. So if you gave black people, let's just say you gave black people 150, 175,000 a piece. Once you tax that 43% up front, and then you have to tax it at the end of the year, you might end up with 40 or 50,000. Something that you can make in a year or open up your own business. This is the mind frame of these black people. I agree with Carla a lot of times. All of us ain't gonna live, bro. All of us ain't gonna survive. You're gonna be sit up there having brothers just like him on their knees with their mouth open, wait for master to put stuff, throw some crumbs off the table and scoop it in their mouth instead of them getting off their feet. That we have brothers on this platform come up here all the time talking about conducting business. How can they move things in Africa? How can we connect with Africa? You
So
know what I'm saying? Far as on the
y'all
business
wanna do
level,
business with
far as
scammers.
on a business level. That's all I want black people to do, Diners. Operate on the business level. Stop begging for somebody that you claim don't like you, that you
Here we go
claim
again
don't
with the,
want you in
oh,
the
we
stores,
begging.
that
How are
you
we
claim
begging?
that hate you, that you claim that systematically oppress you, that you claim that white supremacy is
Claim
holding you
it's the
down,
truth. It's the
that
motherfucking
claim
truth.
that ostracize you, that claim that's trying to stop you from voting. Why in the hell would you think they're gonna give you some money? If they doing all this stuff, Diners, they
They're
got a
just bastardizing the
they
reparations
got the
argument.
C, they
You
got the
and
Doom,
everybody else bastardized the
they
reparations
got the
argument because
Legion of
you
white
sound
people got the
silly.
Legion of Doom defense
We pay
to
taxes
stop
to this
black people from
motherfucking
doing
government. What you talking about? We
everything
don't need
that
no
they
damn
want to do.
reparations.
And all of a sudden, they're gonna be like, you know what? We've been goddamn hating on black people all these years. We've been stepping on their neck. We don't kill
He's
their
just
leaders.
rambling and
We
stuff. It's
don't
like, brother, he
separate their
ain't really
schools.
saying shit.
We don't make their schools horrible. We don't make their schools neighborhood. We don't put crack in the neighborhoods. And now we're gonna give them $23 trillion. It just don't make sense. And I pass the mic to, and I hopefully somebody else talk with some sense
Yeah, let
and
me
not some
just say, let me
feminine
add
sugar
on to
boy.
what Huff Smart just said. You're right. All the problems you see in Black America, the lack and everything, was not created by us, right? Inferior schools, inferior education, inferior redlining, all the stuff like that took a toll. And also now that the outright burning down about the 20th century, we started off this country ahead of white people in places like Tulsa, places like Durham, North Carolina, Forsyth, Georgia, Rosewood. We had thriving communities. I would Wilmington, thriving black communities that could have entered right now. We could have been way ahead by the 1960s. We probably wouldn't need a civil rights movement, right? White people destroyed all that. So the same white people destroyed all that. The same white people who basically ostracized us and basically vilified us in the media and whatnot, and turned the world against us. Turned the world against us, right? Suddenly they're gonna have a change of heart and say, you know something, we're gonna go in debt and slave ourselves, right, to pay these people back $23 trillion. I mean, like I said, you just gotta freaking think. I say like this, it's only because of social media. Because I don't really think people who be like this could have an audience in like the traditional way, where we have to have a meeting, a brick and mortar meeting at the local library on Saturday night or something like that. This is all internet babble. They can get online and whatever stupid thing you have on your mind, you could just babble it, and it's taken off to the point where now political people say, "Oh, they talk about reparations. Let's use that to string them on." Knowing fully well, they like I just said, they know what I would say. It's impossible. It'll never happen,
Do
right?
you believe that we need reparations or not?
Well, I don't need reparations. Why? What do I need reparations for? I personally
So,
don't.
so you don't believe in closing the racial wealth gap? You don't believe that?
Well,
Believe in that?
first of all, you're not serious about racial because you did. You know something. You know what I did support? I supported the Buy Black movement, right? You guys don't
This
support the
is a mythology that you're
don't
spreading.
support the Black. You know what she did
You
say?
know why people say
Hold on,
black buying power?
hold on, hold on. This is why I say you're a
It's to
bunch of
get
liars. This is why I say you
companies
guys are a bunch
to
of
further
liars.
target
Oh,
their
you
ad
guys are a bunch of
revenue.
hold on. You guys are
This
a
is
bunch
what
of liars. This is
Dr.
what I
Derek
say like
Ball
this.
told people a
Hold
long time ago.
up.
This has been debunked before.
Yvette Carnell attacked Elijah Muhammad for his do for self. She attacked Claude Anderson for his
Because it doesn't work
powernomics.
as a zombie idea.
It was a dummy idea. It does work. The
It's a
Muslims built
zombie idea
communities
because it doesn't. That's
and
not how
economics
politics
for
work.
generations.
You're
What are you
trying to get
talking
black
about?
people to be apolitical,
You know what I'm
and you're
saying?
trying
So
to
the
get
bottom
us
line is,
to
and we
diverge
have
ourselves away from
also you
getting
guys would think, hold on,
tangible.
Diane, what these guys do is ignore black successful. I'm a black businessman and I'm successful. I know plenty of black people that's successful, making good money and everything like
You
that.
are
All we
an
need is more
anomaly.
support.
We don't need to hear all of this stuff. We just need
Because
to
you're
hear
lazy.
something
You're lazy.
about.
You want somebody to do something
It's
for
not.
you.
Nobody's lazy.
You're
Nobody's lazy. I work
You're
hard every
lazy.
single fucking
You're
day.
lazy.
How the hell are you gonna try to tell me that black people don't work hard?
You're saying no. You're lazy. You don't
Hey,
work.
guys,
You don't work hard for
let me,
yourself.
let me pass the mic to Rob R. He's been waiting. Go ahead, Rob. Unmute yourself. Rob, unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey, I hope everybody's enjoying their holiday. I had a question, two questions. Maybe Dinus can elaborate on this. First of all, where did Kamala Harris get her constituency from? She made it the senator of California, but where's her power base? That's one
People,
question.
Indians, whites, and all these other people,
And
gays,
black women and sugar
black
boys
women.
like
Yeah.
Leandre.
Why you got to come at me, bro? Why do you have such an issue with me, bro?
Cause you stupid.
All right,
I'm not
y'all.
stupid.
Okay, come on, y'all. Come on.
We
Let's be
do need
respectful.
tangibles. We need
Let,
certain
let,
tangibles, and y'all are
The
okay,
tangibles is that you was
let
the
me pass it back
tangibles.
to
You
Rob. Go ahead,
support black
Rob.
business.
Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead, Rob.
Okay, my second question. Anybody can answer this question, but what is the possibility of the reparations argument being handled by the Republican Party? The Democrats are close to it, and I understand why. They have other constituencies that they are loyal to, that was just articulated. So, what is the possibility of the other side
No,
taking up that?
zero.
They don't
Why do
have
you
a
say
plan
that?
for reparations on the Republican side.
Zero.
They're
Zero.
diametrically opposed to black reparations or to
Yeah,
black
so
agendas.
the Democrats, but at least the Republicans are just honest with you. The
Yeah.
Democrats is playing you.
And that's why I'm not voting for neither one. That's why I'm thinking between Jill Stein and Cornel West, because they have more of an agenda that's more in
Real
support of what black people will
Bill
want.
Clinton elected. Okay, Cornel West. Oh yeah, they should
And even if they don't get elected, I think it will be a good protest vote.
protest. Right? You protest
But
and we
y'all
like
say that Trump is a protest vote, though. Y'all sitting here caping for Trump, drinking a Trump Kool-Aid, sounding
so
like a bunch of white supremacist black men not wanting to step up and be for the black community. Y'all are very anti-black. And this is the reason why nobody wants to call you out, because y'all want to control the fucking narrative and try to make it seem like Trump is in favor of black people when we know 9 times out of 10 he's not going to be in favor of us with his policy.
if
So
you
y'all want to sit here and act like Project 2025 is not something that we should be concerned about.
We shouldn't be concerned about it.
your leader Yvette Carnell came out against Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Do for self. That's staying us for generations in this country.
Well, hold on, Carla. 1 second. Rob, are you done, Rob? Or you got any more questions? Rob, you got any more questions?
One more question.
Go ahead, Rob. Come on, man. Come on with it.
Okay, so this I'm gonna be, and D, I don't you're right about a lot of stuff, but I really, really think you should rethink the possibility of reparations and the need for it, because there's a lot of groups have gotten checks written. And we understand the Israelis got checks written. They got the equivalent. They had 1.6 million people in 1952. The equivalent of $8 billion was sent out to 1.6 million people in 1952. If somebody wants to write a check in this country, it will happen. When we, in 2020, when we had the COVID epidemic, the Fed dropped $6 trillion on the market, on the stock market. Just went out and just dropped it out. I mean, if this country wants somebody to get a check, if this country wants somebody to get some money, it will happen. That's all.
Hey, Rob, let me ask you a question, because I thought you was going to ask a question, but you made a statement. What you're doing is you conflating two things. See, it's just politics 101. You're conflating what happened in COVID. That was a global epidemic. That was an emergency act. Giving black people some money, just by lineage. This is what they say now. By lineage. That not what they say, Dinus? So, delineate lineage, all that fuck shit. You can't do an emergency act for that. And that was something that was done through the president, through executive order. Rob, this is when black people don't give context. So I'm gonna give context to the situation. What was done in COVID-19 was executive order, and it was an act of emergency. You know what I'm saying? What went on in Israel? Israel have their own country, so you can't conflate that to black people too, because they don't have their own country. So that means that the money that black people, boy, can you please mute this clown, bro? Because boy, I swear he sounds like my second baby mama when he talks, saying the most crazy shit ever. Black people don't have their own country, because if you had how the hell you get enslaved in your own country? You was brought over here to be a hoe for white people. White people are the pimps. Now, I don't like nothing that happened during slavery, Dinus, but I understand what went on. I understand that white people sat out there on their front porch and watched people, brought black people over here and worked them. I understand that white people turned black people against each other so slavery can go on even longer. I understand that, but that still don't change the fact that white people brought us over here to build this shit. So ain't no way that we built it. We didn't build it without white people. We didn't build it because we wanted to build it. They put up the schematics. They told you where to pick that cotton at. They showed you where to pick that sugar cane at. They showed you where to put that block at. They showed you where to dig at. They showed you what to cultivate. None of that was done on your own. So some type of way you think because they worked you like a dog, that all of a sudden they're going to give you money, when the opportunity for them to give black people some, Dinus, is when they tried to bring those places up, Liberia, other African countries, for look, we beat the shit out y'all. We raped y'all women. We killed y'all. We hung you. We did all this stuff to you for 400 years. Now take your ugly ass back to Africa. You get what I'm saying? We don't need you no more. But you know what black people did? Hell no. We ain't going back nowhere. Africa. We gonna stay here. We gonna stay right here. You know what I'm saying? And deal with the worst. But the funny part is, but black people knew at that time, even though we was dealing with the worst, we need to come together, because they're trying to get us. Nowadays, you got black people like Leandre out here twerking for Massa and twerking for the Democratic Party. Sit up there talking about reparations. I'm not gonna sit up here and say that we don't need the money. I wish that they could give $23 trillion to black people, but I am a businessman. And you don't give away $23 trillion. You already owe you. This is the thing that you never hear them talk about. FBA talk about. They don't even talk about the bonds we own. Well, hold on, bro. You had your time to talk, and you sit up there and talk, and you didn't say absolutely. You didn't say absolutely nothing. You just sit up there and be babbling, and nobody don't agree with you. The funny part when you talk, you sit up there and interrupted me, and then ask somebody to mute me. When you interrupted me, sugar boy, that's how feminine you are. But let me
Because you
tell you one
sound
thing
like a
they
fucking
never
idiot.
talk about, Dinus. They never
You sound
talk
like an
about the
idiot because
bonds
you are
that
anti-reparations. You
China
don't want us
holds over
to
the
thrive.
United States. You get what I'm saying? Right now, America pays China over $13 million a month in interest. What you think that is for land that they have, but bonds they have with China? So what you think gonna happen if they give 23 trillion to black people and now interest rate is up 380%? That bond
We
does
didn't say
see
all at once. See, you're
one
bastardizing the
thing that
reparations
black people
argument.
don't
You're
understand,
thinking that
they don't
23,
understand the way bonds
$23
work.
trillion is
Just
supposed to
because
happen at once.
just because
We're
just
saying in
because the
increments
interest rate
as a
and
down payment.
inflation goes up, the bond rate still stays the same, Dinus. So that means that the bond rate that China has over the United States property and land stays the same. It don't go up with inflation. That means that
Administratively, reparations is feasible to do.
boy, you don't even know.
All right,
You can
guys,
look this up on, you
hold
can
on.
look
Well,
this up
let
on
me pass
Google.
the mic to let me pass the mic to Johnny. Let me unmute Johnny. Go ahead, Johnny.
Yeah.
Retarded ass.
Yeah, I was gonna try to find a little bit of common ground from what Rose was arguing about and all that. It kind of sound like on one part it's kind of like kind of too divided by political lines and stuff. The way he's looking at it, I guess. Where he's saying like, you got a better chance of getting any type of reparations from a Republicans or the Republican Party. And yeah, Republicans are not going to straight up just give somebody reparations at the national level. Nobody in politics is going to really like take a strong stance on that if they think they actually can get traction. But Trump did have a initiative. He was coming up with an initiative where he wanted to come up with 10 different futuristic cities for the United States. He wanted like 10.
500 billion. That's what it was, bro.
No, it was 10 different cities where he wanted to kind of pick to be the freedom cities in the United States. I don't remember the price tag
Are
that
you
was on
referring
it.
to the Platinum Plan?
It was called Freedom Cities. I don't know about the actual if it was a different plan from that. But in that, any type of initiative that's gonna help black people, maybe he could pick like a couple of the cities and just have them designated to the blacks, and that'd be more of like reparations than I think just giving somebody straight up money. But if you think futuristic, it don't have to be like.
Don't want that because that means hard work. That means they got to have laws and law abiding. They don't want that. All they want is to be doing the same stupid stuff they do every day.
Well, yeah, I know, but like it's kind of waking up to that where I think what I mean, that's not really the thing like it might have been at a point in time. At least the amount of people that's kind of willing to work together and to push towards stuff. Futuristic is just zero, like a city with zero emissions, zero carbon emissions and stuff like that.
Well,
And I
that
know a
sounds
lot
all
of people.
good, but it has a problem, right? Is like black people in America. You ask the average black man, what is his opinion on climate, right? Climate and stuff like that. And he said, well, okay. Cortez is talking about a Green New Deal. Do you understand the implications if Kamala does that? That means in another 6-7 years, they're gonna be asking you to turn in your gas power car to get an electric car. That means whether you have the money or not, you got to come out with like $70,000 for an electric car, and be subjected to electric stations on that. Do you understand, when these crazy people are in power and black people don't even have an opinion about this stuff? Yeah, we understand the environment and stuff like that, but these climate change extremists, I've been studying for decades. These people believe that, and the root of the climate crisis and all this stuff like that is the fact that they think there's too many black people on the planet. You know, Al Gore said that in the 1994 Cairo population conference, right? World population, and they actually said the world's being overpopulated. That was 1994, and they went all throughout Africa, giving them birth control, Norplant, and all stuff like this. Black people don't even know the people that they're freaking voting with, the Democrats and all these people, these Mother Earth people. These people are crazy, and we
Well,
don't
I'm not.
understand
I
nothing.
mean,
We just go along with it.
I'm not saying that's not true, but I know Africa has the youngest population on Earth, where like 50% of Africans are under the age of 19. So I mean, I don't know about the birth control and stuff like that. Maybe back in back in
No, they don't
the
want the
90s.
They don't care about what you call it. They like Bill Gates said he predicted that COVID will wipe out half the African population, And I'm like, he was hoping that it was going to wipe out because they really people like the Prince Harrys and all these people. They really think African humanity is a threat to the African continent, African wildlife, and stuff like that. This is what you're dealing with.
Okay,
You
but to bring it back home to the U.S., I think that'd be like more of a decent starting point for reparations or something like that, where people are kind of looking at a dollar amount. And I think like, yeah, y'all, you kind of trying to get it through bro's head. Like, understand you're not gonna get a dollar amount, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And even
It
if you
has to have
did,
a price on it because the thing is that we're talking about compensation for wrongdoing. So what they could look like different things. I agree with you. It can look like many different things, but and I don't agree it should just only be a cash payment, but I feel like cash payments are and should be included in the package.
what do we say is no one's getting a cash payment. Money's going to stay in a collective. If let's say it's like a African American investment future investment fund, right? Which you could tap into loans and stuff like that for businesses and build institutions, everything like that. But there's no individual cash payment. Would you go for that? Of course you wouldn't. You want a payday. That's all it's about.
I'm looking for
so
many
let,
different forms.
so
I'm
can
not
I
just
ask?
only looking at it from a one side, just a one thing. I'm looking at it from a thing where we can have a multitude of different reparations within a package
Bro,
or within a bill.
do
So let
not
me ask you this, bro. Let me ask you this.
no,
Uh, and that with that being said, right? You said you wanted to close the racial wealth gap. You
Yeah, there's
think if
many
we
different ways you
drop,
can do it.
say what?
I said there's many different ways you can do that. Go ahead.
So you said you wanted to close the racial wealth gap. If you drop $23 trillion into the black community today, is that going to close the racial wealth gap? Do
It's
you
not
think
going to
that's
close
going
the
to
racial
close it?
wealth gap completely because white people already got over $100 trillion in
Is it going to
I think
close the
personal
racial
wealth.
wealth gap with other minorities, with the Latino community or the Asian
Nope.
community?
I
I'm
think
just
Nope.
asking a
it
question,
wouldn't
bro. It's
close
something
it
to think
completely
about.
because it's not enough. But that's the reason why it's supposed to be a multi-generational project to continue to close the racial wealth gap. Because by 2053, if we don't do this, what happens is that it's going to cause black people to fall to zero in terms of wealth.
So that's
makes
I
the
don't
white
know if that's true or not, but I'm gonna say, bro, where do you think we have to receive some type of like a basic income and stuff that's gonna sustain us to close the racial wealth
So you mean like
gap,
a
and we can't do that
universal
on our own?
basic income? I remember Andrew Yang was the one that talked
Well,
about the
that's what
UBI
that sounds
thing.
like if you're getting paid every generation
Yeah,
and stuff. So, but
bro.
I'm just
He
saying, is that
wants
gonna really
one
close the
trillion a
problem?
year, bro. He wants 1 trillion a year. Afterwards, this what this clown said last night. He said,
I'm just
"This what let me tell
But
you
you
what
got
this
to
clown
understand how many
said."
black
He
people
said
exist in
23.
America.
He
How many
said,
black Americans exist in America?
"Hold on,
We
bro,
are over
bro, bro.
40
We
million
heard you. We
people.
heard you. We heard you the last time. But let them hear something new from you. This clown said 23 trillion down payment and $1 trillion a year. That's what
I,
he said.
I don't think you're a clown, but I'm just saying, like, it's something that we got to consider if that really gonna get to the root of what the actual problem is and fix it. And is it just putting a band-aid on a
Economically,
bigger
I think it
problem?
would be. I just don't think it would do it completely, and that's why I said it's supposed to be a multitude of different things. Access to more education, access to more, climate change initiatives and things like that. To combat all these things that we face in various, black communities in America. So that's why I said I'm not with Tariq when he says that we should just only cut the check because it is deeper than just a check.
check it
So
out.
why don't we talk about what's in the check or what the check is supposed to represent, bro? Because like I'm not hearing like that ideas and stuff. I'm hearing
They,
like the
they ain't
buzzword.
got no ideas,
No,
bro. Johnny.
I
They
just
have
dropped the
no
idea.
ideas. They
I
want you
just
to Johnny. I know you're trying to help out the situation, bro. I know you are. I know you're trying to find that silver lining, but you can't because what they don't have if you ask them what they're gonna do with the money, they're gonna tell you leave them alone. Don't ask them no questions. They're gonna talk just like black women do when they talking about asking Kamala Harris questions. Don't ask black women no questions. We're above reproach. Just give us the money. Let us do with it. And then this is the funny thing, Johnny. You never hear them talk about what will happen to the United States economy, what will happen with inflation, what will happen with the price of housing. Do you know that the price of housing would go up times four? Because they don't even the people that's begging for money. Let me tell you something, man. This is the thing, Johnny. Begging is not fighting. Have you ever walked up to somebody begging and you felt like they had some type of fight in them? When you start begging, you coming from a position of subservience. You are a sub. You might as well put on a black mask and put a thong on and get on your hands and knees and let the white people keep whipping you with a whip. You know what I'm saying? But you got a red ball in your mouth. That's what they look like. And then that's why you think that most black people is not on their side. Collar sometimes say the silent part out loud. This just is an internet thing. No black people. My daughter go to college, and I said something about reparations. They have no idea about it. I told her to ask around. Ask around if they ever heard FBA. And if you know anything about the United States, most revolutions in the United States started from the college. You know what I'm saying? Or started on the grassroots. It's no grassroots to that when it's just on the internet. I'm just being honest. Without the name calling, without none of that, they have no type of system. They don't got no type of organization to say, hey, we just ain't gonna give black people the money since we doing it for the descendants of slaves that happened to our forefathers. Let's come up with an organization where we're gonna do with the money. No, they want individual payments. The same way when Trump gave them the money for COVID. But this is the thing though. I want you to listen when they talk. Soon as you hear black males talking about Project 2025, you know that they're a Democratic plant right there. Because there's no type of way that nothing that Trump plans, and I'm not even a Trump voter. It's nothing that Trump plans on his website or anything has anything to do with Project 2025. So when you hear them say Project 2025 at the end of their sentence, you know he listened to MSNBC. You know he listened to Joy Reid. You know he listened to all those channels that talking about that, just trying to tie him. It's the same way. It's the same way when they try to tie. It's the same way when they try to tie Kamala Harris to being the border czar. Dinus, I will admit that she wasn't the border czar. She wasn't. She was put in for the diplomatic to try to do something. She was put in to try to curve it, but she was not the border of us. So I'm gonna be fair. But they're not fair, bro, because these are sugar boys that want a woman to lead them, even though she ain't got no experience, no nothing. Been at the verge of behind an old crepit white dude that put out the 94 crime bill that's oppressive. And let me tell you the other thing, bro. Let me tell you something about black men that make black men look so dumb. The same guy that put it the two strikes you outlaw that oppressed black people, you know what I'm saying, put them in prison. You got these dudes got out of prison, still voted for them. Because all white people have to do is tell black people, I'm sorry. That's all you got to do. He's sorry. He changed. He different. That's why when you hear him talk about the Democratic Party, he's like, oh, they don't change. That's different. That's the equivalent of the KKK right now. And 40 years from now, they become a political party, bro. You still alive, right? 40 years from now, and then you're going to hear black people like, well, the KKK, they don't change. They don't have a complete overhaul. It's what they stand for. The Democratic Party stands for the party of the slave master. They went to war for it. Went to war to keep black people in slavery. But all of a sudden now, you know what I'm saying? This dude is sitting up here doing their talking point, talking about Project 2025 and saying the word trumpet. He sounded just like Joy Reid. Matter of fact, he probably looked like Joy Reid. You know what I'm saying? I passed the mic.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he always just come in with personal attacks because he knows what I'm saying is true. He knows what I'm saying is true.
I don't know about that, bro. Let me pass back
to Project 2025.
Hey, John, let me pass back to Dre. Go ahead, Johnny. Don't pass it back to Dre. Go ahead, Johnny.
Nah, he can go ahead. I mean, there was a lot of ad hominems in there. Bro can go ahead. I'm gonna just listen.
Go ahead, Dre.
All right. So my thing is that I hear a lot of these people babbling about, oh, the government can't do this, the government can't do that. What are you talking about? Administratively, they can do this. And at the same time, when we talk about the whole Project 2025, so in other words, you want our civil rights to be taken away. You want Trump to whitewash history. You want Trump to be in favor of cutting Social Security. All these things.
Dre, hold on, Dre. Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? Has Trump endorsed Project 2025?
He's trying to distance himself right now because he knows that it's a lot of repercussions.
Dre. Hold on, Dre. I asked a simple question. Has Donald Trump at any time endorsed Project 2025? That's it. That's all.
Now, back in the day before,
Bro, just keep it real, bro.
No, Dre.
he had talked with Kevin Roberts.
Just keep it real, bro.
Dre. Hold on, Dre. You said Dre. Has Donald Trump endorsed Project 2025?
Not outwardly, but he has low key endorsed it.
Oh God. Dre,
I told you it's because of political repercussions behind the whole thing.
As Donald Trump endorsed Project 2025.
He has endorsed it. He's just trying to tell you that he's not endorsing it.
Bro, that doesn't make no sense, man. You kind of trying to get off of the topic to try to play politics, but he just asked you a simple question, man.
I said he did, but he's trying to play
he
a game.
He asked if he endorsed the project that y'all, that you're accusing him of.
Okay, he copied and pasted some of the things
yes or no,
in
bro?
Project
If he did
25
or didn't.
Dre, be a man. It's a yes or no question. Like I feel like I'm talking to my 10-year-old son.
Like you're talking to your 10-year-old daughter.
Did
See,
he
this is what I'm saying with
endorse?
ad hominem, like we can't even have
Dre, without people coming at
somebody sideways. Like, can you get this fuck boy off the damn thing, bro?
Dre,
this fuck nigga just always comes at me every single time we have
let's not use Dre. Did Donald Trump endorse Project 2025? Yes or no?
Yes, he did. I told you he's trying to play it cool because
Dre, when I need you to put in the chat room.
You're trying to gaslight me and trying to get me to say
no.
I'm
not gaslighting you,
Ask
bro.
the question.
Yes, you are.
You dropping a buzzword again, bro. It's not gaslighting.
Don't he sound like a female? I'm not gonna say
you're gaslighting and you're trying to manipulate me into saying no, so that way I can.
Dre, I'm just saying, Dre, I'm asking.
He endorsed it. Drop the endorsement then in the chat.
Yeah, just drop it. Put the
Dinus, this guy is saying you trying to manipulate him from answering a question, truth or false. Did you just hear that?
I told you he denounced it right now because, like I said, it's repercussions. How many times can I say that?
You could put in the chat where he actually endorsed it, though. You know what I'm saying? Where you said he endorsed it.
All right. So. Let me go ahead and Google this.
Yeah. Won't you be quiet and do that? Won't you do it and put some facts out here? See, listen what I'm telling y'all, man. This guy right here, I like Johnny. I like Johnny. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to be neutral, but even at a certain point, Johnny, you got to call strikes and balls. You get what I'm saying? This ain't no participation trophy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's either he did or he didn't. If he did, I would be 100% with Leandre and say that, yeah, he did it at one point, and now he doesn't. Now, what he trying to say is that, okay, people that work with him, you know, so they wrote like something in it, but that don't mean that he participated. It's the same way. It's the same way that I heard people say on this platform before, Dinus, when they said that, well, some of the people from Project 20, they support Donald Trump. That's the same way they're saying, like, if the Black Panthers support you, then it's like, okay, so therefore you support the Black Panthers. You ain't got nothing to do with who supports you in your business, Dinus. You know what I'm saying? It's the same way when you have talk about your business, things that's going on. When I'm coming up here, my rhetoric, sometimes you used to put the disclaimer out, but common sense for most people would say, okay, Dinus didn't say it. His business doesn't represent it. You know what I'm saying? So why would you try to tie that in to Dinus? Just because, hey, he cool with Hustle Smart. Just because he cool with Hustle Smart don't mean that he agree with everything I say. Dinus don't agree with everything I say the same way I don't agree with everything he say. But that doesn't mean that he support the stuff that I say that has something to do with his business. It's the same thing with Project 2025. The only people that talk about Project 2025 is MSNBC. CNN used to be just like MSNBC. They don't even say it. I'm talking about the commentators don't say it. Of course, they let people come up on their platform and say it, but they don't say it. But over there, MSNBC, the commentators are saying, they'll push that. So you got dudes like Leandre that keep trying to just talk about what somebody in their brain, what somebody thinking about. Oh, that's where they should say.
Hold on. Okay. So Dre, please, I'm gonna pass the collar. Can you put in the chat room the link where Donald Trump says, I endorse Project 2025? That's all.
All right, hold on.
Okay, go ahead, Colin.
Okay. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, right? He says on one hand that this can be done, but on the other hand, they say our ancestors deserve reparations for what they went through and whatnot. Who put them through that? The very same people that you're asking for reparations for. Well, I mean, it's like, how would I say this, right? It's like you asking for compensation from somebody who robbed you and took everything from you. He has everything to gain. You have no evidence that he did it. You have no way of making him do it. But you think out of the goodness of a heart, he's going to come out and knock on your door and say, you know something? We did all this stuff was wrong, you know? Let me make it right for you and everything. Here, marry my daughter. You know, let's make it right. It doesn't work like that in the real world. The real world is this. You have to understand something, right? We fell into the bowels of humanity with slavery. White people, they thought they were giving reparations by reckoning us, right, as human beings and writing us into the Constitution, so-called, you know? That was your reparations, right? Now you could, at that time, right, you could have said, no, you're gonna pay it, we're gonna get the hell away from you, and we're gonna pay us back over there from a vantage point of a nation state. Therefore, you
What
by
they
now
did, Collins? What they did, Collar, instead?
they want to integrate white people. They want to wave the American flag. They want to become Americans. Like, I saw old pictures of a post Civil War stuff like that, and I'm saying to myself, they had little black children there singing the national anthem and all stuff like that. I said to myself, think about it. You just came out of slavery, and somebody's making you sing the national anthem of a freaking country that enslaved you. And that's why my novel Journey to the Promised Land. See, back then, I studied this, right? Black people didn't have any affinity towards America. They didn't. In the 1800s, whatnot, American was considered a white person, somebody who could be white. You're free. You know, we knew, our ancestors knew that we're never going to be truly Americans in this country because the prejudice for the slavery is built so ingrained into the country. So the bottom line is this: you think that these people are going to make something right about slavery and everything? You're sadly mistaken. And then when I'm talking about Yvette Carnell, this lady comes up here and she starts basically attacking black businesses. You say we're anti-black, right? She attacked Dr. Claude Anderson. She vilified Boyce Watkins. She vilified Elijah Johnson.
Can you explain that?
Okay, well, she was basically saying that the do for self hasn't done. I said, who the hell are you to say do for self haven't done anything? She's nothing of a homeless person living with her mother and whatnot, and she was saying, no, black people ain't got no money. Remember that,
camera on YouTube. How is Boyce Watkins
remember that?
person?
Hold on. Remember that? Well, who was the scammer? I seen her live stream one time, and when she started breaking into the reparations thing, she had people sending her $500 super chats. You know, why didn't she? If black people got no money, why didn't you send that money back to them?
That's for political content.
Dre, you supposed to be finding the facts, right? You supposed to be finding where the Project 2025. Hey, Dre, did you find the Project 2025 with Trump saying anything?
I shared the link. I think I got it in the super chat.
Oh, okay. Hey, Dinas,
he doesn't endorse it.
No. Why would you send him a link then?
Actually matches up with Project 2025.
Why would you send him a link then if that's not what it is? The question was, do he support it or not? So what did you send a link to? Pornhub or something? Because that don't make sense. The question was, do he support Project 25? Have you ever supported it? You get what I'm saying? And then you said, yes, he did. And he said, find the link. So if you sent a link to anything other than he's supporting it, then what was the point of sending the link, Leandre?
I sent the link because it matches up with his agenda and it matched up with the agenda he had back from 2017 to 2020.
So why did he disavow
it? That's a way
of
endorsing it, but he's not endorsing it directly. Like he's like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna support all of it. He doesn't support
like
all
you're
of
not directly
it.
answering the question.
Proposals in it, he supports.
So like you're not directly answering the question.
Okay, so let's see how Agenda 47 and Project 2025 actually.
No.
Oh man, DeAndre, you ain't got it. We got to move on. Kyle, anything else you want to add?
Another thing I want to say is this: these people talk about helping black people. Why was Yvette Carnell, your leader, ADOS, so against you? I mean, not just saying I'm going to critique the Do for Self movement or the Buy Black movement, because the Black movement was really powerful. People got apps and everything like that to know where black businesses are. The black middle class was down for that shit, you know? and they said during COVID, on the most of the apps like DoorDash, everything, they will give you markers. This is a black-owned business. They said businesses went up by like 60% because you even had white people saying they're going to support and agents about black-owned businesses and whatnot, you know. But Yvette Carnell, the billions of dollars Black America spends every day, what if we channel some of that money back into our community? That's your reparations right there.
No, that's not reparations.
So you want a handout? That's what it is. You don't want to do no
It's not
work.
a handout. See, that's what I'm saying. Like y'all keep saying
you don't want to do no work.
same old propaganda. Y'all been propagandized by Fox News. Y'all been propagandized by Fox News, Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity. Y'all are nothing but a bunch of Uncle Russes that do not want to see black people win. And I told you that black buying power nonsense comes from companies who want to further target their ad revenue to black people.
Go ahead, Collins. I got past.
Okay,
you got 30 seconds. I got past the Elvis.
Now I can say if these people were behind Buy Black movement and stuff like that, and say, yeah, we support that, do for self and everything. But at the same time, we think we deserve reparations. When I would support that. But these guys basically use reparations as a way to say we don't need to do anything else.
What are you talking about? This is actually the opposite.
You guys don't have any other plan. I studied you guys for years. You guys have no other plan. You have no business plan. You have nothing.
Prove to me that black people spend more money on frivolous items because y'all keep saying we spend money on Jordans and all this. Most black people spend money on rent, food, utilities, and transportation.
That's a lot of crap. You're a lot of crap.
No, it's not a lot. I can pull it up
Everybody spend money on. Daddy, did you just hear that? Everybody spend money on rent, bills, and all that, bro. But this is the thing, though. This is the thing, though, Didas, what they don't understand. I know you finna pass it to Elvis, Didas, but what they don't talk about is that the inflation. Didas, ask them one question. Ask them, do they have any idea? So, like, think about it like this, Didas. They know the amount of money they want. They want 23 trillion and 1 trillion a year. Ask them, do they know how much inflation will go up? Dinas, ask them that question and see if they have any type of idea.
Let me pass it to Elvis. Go ahead, Elvis.
All right, thank you, Dinas. I want to ask you on the title of the show. What do you mean by it? Because I want to address it.
You know what he means.
It's self-explanatory.
Here come that disingenuous, Dinas, and I ain't gonna say nothing else.
Go ahead, Elvis.
Right. So, I mean, I'm assuming you think it's not important because Democrats win California all the time, right?
Well, that, and like I said at the beginning of the show, the black vote has no power. So, for example, the Black Caucus is pretty much stalling the reparations bill. And you have black people who elected these black officials saying, we're going to vote you out. But then it's like, who are you going to vote in? Another Democrat that's not going to serve your best interest. The Black Caucus, their base isn't black, it's Hispanic. So who are they going to vote in? So that's what I'm saying. The black vote in California is pretty much useless.
Maxine
they killed the bill, Dinas.
Okay. Yeah, but I think the black votes in the blue wall states, like, you know, Wisconsin, Michigan.
Elvis, we're talking California. We're talking California.
Oh my God.
No, when you say that is, you know, if you say it's
he has no idea what's going on.
It has no power, right? In California, fine. But the black votes have power in other places, in those swing states. And like last, election, I think they helped push Biden over the threshold in Georgia.
That's not gonna happen this time. So
and Michigan. So
that's not gonna happen this time. I guarantee you that.
That's fine, Carla. I mean, that's just my take on that. I think the black vote will be important in places like Georgia and Michigan.
But to who? Who? We black people in America don't benefit from none of this. You black immigrants benefit from it. We don't benefit from it. Why are we always doing something to protect you guys? I don't give a damn if you get deported. I don't give a damn about that. I don't give a damn about the people at the border and everything.
Well, is that even a black vote when we talk about the black vote? Is it like you mean like
the black vote mean everybody tethers off the black vote, the gays, everybody else rides on the black vote. So the feminists, the gays, the illegal immigrants, everybody's all down for the black, because the black vote don't have its own agenda. All it does is just basically let these parasites that eat off it ride along.
So that's why. So that's why it does not have power, because
That's why it don't have power. Well, how you have power if you don't? If it's not, it doesn't exist for your benefit.
Hey, Johnny, let me ask you this: how can you have any leverage over your kids if every time when they do something that against what you want them to do, and then they say, and then you turn around and support them anyway? You don't, no punishment, no conversations or anything.
Yeah.
How are you? Think about it. You support them. You're the backbone of your family. The backbone. Like they called black people the backbone of the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
But your kid, you the backbone of your kids, but your kids treat you like shit, disregard you, give you symbolism, and then you still support them. You know what I'm saying? With no type of punishment, no type of retribution, nothing. Why would your kids, how do you think your kids gonna look at you as a man as they grow up? Are they gonna look at you as a father, as like he's a strong protector, or are they gonna look at you as a simp dad? Somebody that let them just run over them. That's what we're saying about the black community. If you vote for a party for 96% that don't give you nothing, they haven't gave you nothing but symbolism. Why would that party ever do anything for you? Johnny, why do you think they come around every 4 years and bring up racism?
That's just a stupid.
Why do you think they come up every 4 years and start talking about racism? You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, not only do they talk about racism, they come up with some stupid ass shit to start talking about you're gonna end back up in chains and stuff. It's scare tactics, because
Democratic Party gave you the Civil Rights Act.
Boy, nobody interrupted
they gave you
when
the right to vote.
Nobody
they
interrupted
gave you
you
Social
when you
Security.
was talking, boy. And that's
they
what
gave
you
you
do.
all
You
of
came
those
up here.
things.
You
So when
came
you
up
say
here
they gave you
sounding
nothing, it's
stupid.
just not
You
true.
signed up sounding stupid,
So
and
Elvis,
it
what
don't
did the
even make
Democrat
sense.
Party give us in the last 20, 25 years?
Well, now, yeah, when you're asking for the last 20, 24 years, you got to look at it from a holistic point of view.
Bro, well, you threw out a fact about
he said
the
holistic.
historical shit, but I'm
Right,
saying,
because the things that benefit black people also benefit other groups of people, and that's why
Johnny, hey yo, Johnny,
most people
so
keep
what
asking.
in the last
Johnny, I
20,
got one for
25
you.
years?
Hey, Johnny, I got one for you.
Say that again, Johnny.
Johnny, I got one for you, Johnny. So in Elvis's state, his governor, they put tampons in boys' restrooms. There you go. That's it.
And Minnesota is one of the top
So
highest tax. I think it's either top 3 or no, top 4 in the top 4 as highest tax states in the United States, which is crazy. But just like you said, Johnny, they use talking points.
So Johnny, in the last 25 years
ago, but
you got the Affordable Care Act. Now it benefits everybody, but it benefits poor black people the most. That's a benefit that black people get. Now, this idea, black people are not in a position right now where they need something that every other group has that they don't have. When you talk about reparations, that's a case that could be made. I'm not against it. If you can make an effective case and the government wants to give it to you, fine. But if you guys can pinpoint anything that black people really need, forget Africans, African Americans, if you want to say that. If they need something so desperately and the government is failing to give it to them, you can state it. So
oh my God, man. Hey,
Kyla, you're here. You can state anything that black people need that they're not getting.
You ain't even American. You speaking on American. I know we're not gonna get reparations, but with this clown sitting up here talking about don't even make no sense. Because at the end of the day, if you're not talking about inflation, if you're not talking about inflation
does that benefit on the does that hurt on the black people, or does that hurt everybody, like I was saying earlier?
You're not talking about inflation.
All of the issues that affect black people affect all Americans now. That's why there's not anything done specifically for black Americans. Everything that benefit us benefit other groups.
The reparation conversation,
that was my point, and you just buttressed it.
We got lying ass Liberians like that don't know shit about politics, but to support a certain channel. This clown sitting up here, he supports a woman. He wants a woman to lead him. You know what I'm saying? He got that.
I'm a
These
Democrat. I
dudes are
support
sitting
the
up here.
Democratic nominee.
These dudes sit up here talking about
I'm not
women fighting for the
insecure
right to
about my
kill their
masculinity and
kids.
think that I
You know what
have
I'm
to
saying? To kill
compete with a
kids.
woman.
They
That's
try
not what
to
I am.
listen how they talk, Johnny. Listen how they talk, Diners. They talk about killing babies as health care. When I go to the doctor,
Killing
ain't
babies.
nothing about killing nobody. It's health care. I got PPO. I pay for my $354 a month. It ain't nothing in there that about killing anybody. But this is how they dress it up. They got these words. They call killing babies health care, a woman's choice. And let me tell you something, Johnny
It's a
and
fetus,
Dinah.
not a
Most of
baby.
these black, hold on, this is the last point. I'm gonna pass the
There you
mic.
go.
Most of these people
This
are
is a
diehard
mash
Christians.
mouth country bumpkin who can barely speak
Diehard
English.
Christians that he's talking about, hey, women need to have the right to kill their
So there you
babies.
go again,
These are the
Dynasty. You want
same,
to mute me,
these are the
huh?
It's a
same
fetus, but
black
also
people
too, not
that be
every
at
woman
church
can have
on Sunday.
abortion the right way. I mean, some women have fertility issues, so that's why they need the IVF
Boy,
thing.
listen to this clown.
I mean, it's
Dinah,
true.
listen,
Like
have you
it's
ever
true. Not
heard people that bring up the 1% of an argument? Like you ever hear them when they start talking about, well, what about rape and incest? That's
yeah.
point.
What about rape and incest?
That's
So you're
one
in
point.
favor of
Those
rape?
That's
strong
So
one
you're
men
in
are
point
favor
women.
two
of girls and women
percent.
Women.
getting raped because of
They 1.2
men not
percent.
wanting to
Diners,
ban
Diners,
abortion?
1%. 1.2% is not nothing that you would bring up as an
Okay, so
argument.
you condone rape. Okay,
You don't
you
bring up
condone
the
rape and incest.
minute
Okay,
in an
end story.
argument.
End
You
story.
don't bring up a 1% argument. If you talk
How is that
about
a
rape and
1%
incest,
argument?
that's 1%. 1%. But they bring it up, Diners, like it's the end all be all. Well, all I'm saying is this right here, Diners. Black people that sit up there and talk about they the most Christian, they crop for Christ, be sit up here talking about arguing for a woman to kill a baby. Do you know, Diners, when they had the DNC, they had the mobile Planned Parenthood out there killing babies out there at the DNC in the parking lot? They had a mobile, they don't even bring that up. They don't
So are
get
you against
the
birth
Planned
control? Are you
Parenthood,
against birth control?
the Planned Parenthood thing was out there. Listen, bro, I'm not for either one. I don't care. But what I'm saying is that I'm not a hypocrite. I don't believe I'm not a religious person. But I read the Bible. I know the Bible, and I know that sitting up there killing babies is murder. You know what I'm saying? And that goes against Christianity. I'm not a Christian at all.
So
I'm
when the
just not a
baby finally gets
hypocrite.
born and they get killed in war, and when they get killed in all these
Boy,
other
that
things,
has
isn't
nothing
that
to do
killing the
with it.
baby
That
too?
is choice. That is a choice. You get what I'm
How's that
saying?
a choice?
But you just said when they go to war, Leandre.
Or okay, if they get killed in their neighborhood, like if they live in the hood and they live in a very dire situation and they get killed, is that not also
That
murder?
is not whatever you're saying is not a good analogy. I'm gonna help you out with this. I'm not gonna even call you stupid or anything. What the analogies that you use from a choice? I'm talking about a choice, Leandre. You talking about a random act, bro. Listen to yourself before you talk
But
sometime.
it's still
I'm talking
murder
about
nonetheless,
now
right?
hold on, Leandre. I'm not calling you no name, so just listen for a second. I'm talking about a personal choice. I'm talking about you sitting there, going in your bank account, seeing how much money you got to go somewhere, lay on a table, let somebody stick a metal rod up in you, suck something out, or cut the baby out you and cut up, then you're talking about a random act or somebody randomly get killed. It's not the same, DeAndre. That's all I'm trying to tell you. I'm not going to call you no name on that one. I just want you to think for a second. I pass the mic.
Could I ask Elvis something?
Just somebody asked over something.
You want to ask me? Go ahead, ask me.
Go ahead.
I'll answer.
Let me pass to Mr. Salmon. Go ahead, Mr. Salmon.
Hey, yeah. So the thing about the Roe versus Wade, as a person with a conscience, it's hard for me to vote in favor of allowing abortion. It's just something that I really don't want to touch. But at the same time, I as a man, I know that I have no right to tell a woman what to do with her body. So I'll let them handle it. The women in this country outnumber us anyway, and they're going to show up and show out for the vote. So we'll let them decide whether or not they want to allow Kamala Harris to reinstate some type of legislation that allow them to have their rights to.
But think about what you just said, Mr. Sandman, right? You got World War III about to break out. You know, Iran's is testing for its first nuclear bomb. You got North Korea talking about getting slick. You got China talking about invading Taiwan and everything. You got Russia and Ukraine. All these things. You got these a new realignment in what's going on in West Africa and Sahara region. All this instability in the world that could just basically turn us into World War III, worse than World War II by like 1,000, right? And the issue people want to talk about is something like freaking abortion. You know, why is that even on the issue? The media chose to make that an issue.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You know what I'm saying? And it's a crazy world to be living in. You know, one of the presidential candidates.
That's why what I do remember about Trump, right? When someone tried to throw that climate change in his face, he says, hey, I don't agree with it. I think it's all a bunch of crap. And he's like this because let me tell you, people understand is for every scientist that says we have global warming, it used to be global warming, they tell you climate change, right? There's like so many scientists that don't get that they discredit, they defund and debunk and everything that said is climate change is a globalist population controlling scheme that has been debunked, the one that has no scientific basis. But the powers that be choose, and the media chooses the only thing like, oh, climate change is an existential threat to humanity. Okay, if they do all that climate change stuff like that, they say we could cool the earth by 1 degree in 50 years. What the hell has that got to do with the destruction that's going to cause in the wake of that? You know,
okay, yeah. So the thing is, I'm not a scientist, and I have done some studies. As a matter of fact, one of a college course I did some research on it, and the most of the scientific consensus is that climate change is real and it has been getting affected by the actions of humans. So and yeah, you're right. There is
I
a
found
group
out
of
the
scientists.
evidence to the contrary. I think the Earth was going through cycles. They say,
Yeah, of
like
course,
you had an ice
the Earth
age, you had
does
this
the
age,
Earth.
everything like that. You know.
Yeah, the Earth does go through
And let me
cycles,
tell you
natural
something, Mr.
cycles,
Sandman. You know
and
something?
it also
Do you
hold
know
on,
we
hold
got
on.
the technology now to like permaculture? I studied permaculture for Africa for decades, right? Which Gaddafi took up, right? Where they could basically drill for water. You know how much water is in the Sahara Desert underneath and the Kalahari Desert? Billions of cubic feet of water that can irrigate and green the Sahara Desert, right? They know this stuff. You know, is the state of Israel planted 600 million. Same thing, Ethiopia planted 600 million trees. Now they got friggin' what do they call carbon monoxide going into the absorbing carbon dioxide and pushing out oxygen. 600 million trees Ethiopia planted. That's how you deal with that, the balance that you deal with the climate change. But the bottom line is you don't hear about this stuff, right? Because people want to make you think that it's hopeless. We got to suffer because we're just being human, and
So by you saying that, you just admitted that humans do have an effect on
well, yeah,
climate
I know,
change.
but the
Yeah, they
humans
do.
also solve the problem too. You
Well,
know,
All
I
right, yeah, and
mean,
how much does something like that cost?
it doesn't matter the cost of not doing it. Right, like that's what we should be talking about. The permaculture in Africa, right? I saw this one document on permaculture. They said that if permaculture combined with going back to a set of animals being raised in like factories and everything, get back to traditional animal husbandry. That's another thing that could nurture the soil. They said all these things could be done, irrigation, all stuff that could be done to solve humanity's problems on the African continent could solve all the humane problems. Also, they said piping water from the Great Lakes and the great rivers of Africa to the Sahara Desert, and also drilling for water in the Sahara Desert. We're green the Sahara Desert. South Sudan is the most fertile place on earth. That's a perfect type what could happen. They
All
said,
right, all of that's true, right? And we could do all that, but
yeah, that solves the problem.
hold on, let me finish it.
Let him finish, Colin. Go ahead, Mr. Salmon.
Who's gonna profit off of that?
Well, the bottom line is this:
Who's gonna profit?
I'll tell you who's going to profit, right? South Sudan. If South Sudan was able to realize its potential in agriculture, as far as everything from cotton and everything like that, billions of dollars could be made by the local people. You will give the local people on the continent a chance.
How are they going to profit billions of dollars by planting trees?
Because let me tell you something, bro. The state of Israel, right? So have you studied Israel? They planted 600 million trees. Some of those trees could grow crops, everything like that, and gardens because when you do the trees, right, it creates rain. You know, they green the parts of the Namib Desert. You know, just by planting trees. So that was a
Okay.
prototype of what you could do when you lack water. What it really comes down to is lack of water.
Okay. So who's going to start this profitable initiative? Is it going to be a
Well,
government
the bottom
or a
line is
private
this. The bottom
institution?
line is look at the state of Israel. It's already being done. You
Okay.
know,
Israel
Ethiopia is doing it.
the government did that, right?
The
So you're hold on, hold on.
The Ethiopian government, the Ethiopian just last.
You're against socialism, and you're all for capitalism. And
No, I'm not.
capitalism is
I
allowing
never
the
said.
private
Well, listen, you gotta
sector
understand
to
who I am, right?
control.
Hold on. You gotta understand who I am, right? What you could do is what we call a public-private partnership, right? The government basically is. I don't believe in raw capitalism. I don't believe in raw socialism. But a public-private company, which are based on common sense, says we're going to give a private company the incentive to do this. We're going to use the government money to like this, and that gives the company that's planting stuff and everything like that an incentive to make money doing the right thing. That's public-private partnership.
We'll see, but I don't know. I'd have to check out
Well, it's done
others.
done all the time.
Yeah, but you're talking about food, and it's all about supply and demand.
Yeah,
So
the bottom line is this: the government gives out grants
if
for
you're going to
land.
grow more crops,
In this country,
you're going to bring down the price of all the
isn't that
crops by growing
socialism?
more of it.
Isn't that socialism? The government in America subsidizes farms to grow and not grow stuff and stuff like that, and give bank loans to agriculturalists and everything like that. You know, that's socialism, isn't it?
Right, exactly.
We have a socialist. We're not solely always capitalism, are we?
Yeah, we're capitalists, but how much if you want to have complete control of the way that the market is flowing.
Ain't nobody saying about the market. You got to produce before you have a market. You got to be able to produce.
Yeah, you gotta produce it first, Mr. Sandman. See, Mr. Sandman is a good guy, man. He, you know what I'm saying? He thinks
he watches too much
deep.
MSNBC. I can tell.
I mean, y'all didn't even let me talk at all. But okay.
Hey, Mr. Sandman, let me ask you something though. Do you know that China is right now? They're planting about. They got an organization. They plant about 6,000 trees a month in the desert. You know, so they're trying to produce something like that. But all it is just a shift. It's just a shift in the way the earth is set. Think about it when you go back into the history. 4,000 years ago, the African, it was no sub-Saharan desert in Africa. It was all lush. You get what I'm saying?
We know that.
1,000 years the Sahara Desert was green.
But what I'm saying is that that's why you can't talk. You can't save anything based on.
And why you can put in the trees if you can't save it?
No. See now you go. Now you're doing the same thing that you said Carla was doing. You didn't let me finish saying what I was saying.
Okay,
you can't save anything completely. Only thing you can do is it's just like a train. You can slow it down. You can't stop it. Only thing that's gonna stop it is total destruction. You can't stop it, Mr. Sandman. So you can try to curve it. So what they try to do is they trying to curve it. But so what I'm saying is, but in another 1,000 or 2,000 years, America gonna be destitute. Right now, they're trying to make it seem like there's some type of way they can do some type of organization that can change something in the next 30 years, which is false. That's why a lot of people don't go for it. If you know history, to know that type of global warming at one point, and the Antarctica being that cold is just how it is right now. That's not how it was 1,000 years. It ain't got nothing to do with the climate, with industry. The industry can bring up smog, like you can bring up the smog and all that, as far as the ozone layer and all that. Yeah, that's true. But it has nothing to do with the plate of how the earth is moving, how it's tilted. So I get what everybody did. It's the same way like this, Mr. Sandman. You remember the Vietnam War? You had one group that was complaining about the Vietnam War, and the other group saying, "Yeah, we won it." And while everybody was sitting there fighting in the audience, they were still doing what they want to do. It's the same thing, brother. And I pass the mic.
Okay, yeah. Can I talk now? Because I didn't even get a chance to get in there. But yeah. So the thing is, in regards to the World War III that could potentially be happening, a lot of this stuff around the world, there's been some unrest happening now for a while now, and you can even say that the Trump administration even contributed to a little bit of
peace in the Trump years, bro.
Yeah, so but Trump also assassinated one of Iran's top generals. when he was in office, and
Yeah, but the
also
bottom line,
he
Iran
also
was broke though. Iran was
and
broke,
also he got in a trade war with China,
and he
and then
won.
after and he won. And did he win the long game though? It's
The
not
long game,
over.
what? China. Let me tell you
You
something
can
about
win a
China.
battle, but you ain't win the
China
war.
need. Hold on, Mr. Sandman. China needs the United States. We don't need shit from China. You know, to be honest with you.
I mean, China is the second largest economy in the world.
What exactly do we sell to China?
We sell our crops to China. That's why
Yeah,
our
so what?
farmers.
So what? That don't mean nothing. I mean, the bottom line is, if China was not selling its electronic stuff, it would go bankrupt. America, if they basically we cut off our stuff to China one night, we would not
China
feel it.
can't go bankrupt because they have a communist government that controls their money. They can change the value of their currency whenever they feel like it.
Well,
They
the bottom
decide
line,
how much their currency
bottom
is.
line is
They're
that
not
China,
controlled by
like
the
I said,
market.
this is what happens when we sit around engaging in doom and gloom politics and everything like that. We don't get a picture. China is not doing. China's a paper tiger. You can't do anything without the United States. Nothing. China
Yeah,
needs the American market.
we can't do anything without each other. To be honest with you.
No, the United States don't need Chinese. You know.
Okay, so
We don't get
are
any
you
oil
saying
from them.
America doesn't
We don't
need
get any oil
anybody
from
then,
them.
right?
And America could actually produce its own oil and be energy independent. So there's nothing America needs from any country outside. America's like one of the only countries that can be self-sufficient in everything.
Oh, all right, you believe that, huh?
And it's the truth, though.
Okay. So with 5 billion people in Asia, in between the Indians and the Chinese and the Japanese and the Koreans, that whole entire market, you're going to shut that off.
Well, I'm not saying shut the whole entire market, but those countries don't like China. You know, don't like China.
I'm saying we have companies out there, McDonald's for one, that sells their product and supplies the 5 billion people.
Well, that's McDonald's.
That's a huge market.
Come on, Mr. Sandman. McDonald's does not supply no 5 billion people, bro, in China.
Oh, come
He's
on.
saying it's a lot of work and stuff out there, the economy, the jobs and stuff.
It's the economy out there. We have American businesses in Asian countries all over the world that's going to lose their valuation by billions or even trillions of dollars if we stop trading with China.
Bottom line, you know what the Chinese going to do? If that's the case, they're going to make sure that never happens because their people need the jobs more than anything.
No, because they steal all of our intellectual property. They'll just
the bottom line is
who they gonna sell it to, Mr. Sandman? Who are they gonna sell it to?
He's not saying sell it. He's saying like they could rip it off. They don't respect.
Yeah, but they still got to sell it back to the United States though.
They
so
got to sell it back to the United States.
The only thing they sell to us is cheap products that you buy at your local department.
Well,
they do not. Oh my
China. What are you talking about?
What else do they sell?
Man, come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Stop while you're ahead, man. Stop while you're ahead, bro.
Tell me what they sell us.
No, they sell computer chips.
All your Androids and iPhones, everything is made in China. But the Chinese can't afford them. They're all made for the American market. That's U.S. companies.
Nike, all that shit.
And you telling me that we have more smartphones than China does? There's 5 billion people over there.
No, that's what
everyone in the world has a smartphone.
Not everybody in the world
running around in the desert have smartphones.
Everybody believes that. This is another thing. People think that everybody is on the internet and everything. Only a small percentage of the world has data and stuff like that. You know what it is? Have you been out of this country, Mr. Sandman?
I'm a military veteran. I've been all over the world.
All right, when you go around the world and whatnot, you'll find that when you turn on YouTube. Hold on, when you turn on YouTube, when you overseas, commercials don't even pop up. Why? Because it's not a huge market over there. That's why they don't advertise in other countries for the most part.
I've been in the middle of the desert in Afghanistan with
and you did not see it. When you pull up YouTube, you did not see no commercial.
No. Hold on, let me finish. Walking around with kids barefoot with a smartphone in their hand.
But what does that mean?
And this was
everybody
10, 15 years ago.
No, what I'm saying is this. So when they turn on that smartphone, right? What makes a smartphone money is like the TikTok and all stuff like that is advertisement and commercials and the algorithm. That doesn't matter in these other countries because they don't have a consumer base.
You're wrong. You're
Oh,
100%
Mr.
right.
Sandman, come on, bro. Hold on for a second, Colin. Mr. Sandman, listen, bro. I left. I was in Kenya, bro, and I went outside of Kenya. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna even say it, bro. They had smartphone. They didn't even have the connection to the internet. They had the phones,
Yep.
but they didn't have the connection. Let me explain something to you, Mr. Sandman.
All
The
they need is
connection is
all they
not.
need to install a
Let me
tower.
finish saying what I'm saying, bro. It
Okay.
don't matter. Mr. Sandman, when you was in the military, that was got that you're saying I know you, bro, and I know you ain't just got out the military this year. You told me you've been out the military for like 15 years.
Okay. Well,
So what I'm
there's more
saying is,
to it.
but
There's
what I'm
more to it
saying
than
is
that,
that
but I don't
what
want
I'm saying is that
to
the
dox
technology,
myself.
even the technology back then was they didn't even have 5G when you was in the military, Mr. Sandman. 5G
Okay.
don't exist. In certain parts of Africa, they don't even have 5G. They operating at 3G, bro.
Right.
3G.
Okay.
And then
And all you have to
hold
do
on.
is install a
Let me
tower.
finish. And that's not everywhere. That's only in the inner city. That's only in the inner city.
Do you
When
know
you
what
get
5G
outside of
is?
when you get outside of these major cities, Mr. Sandman, it does not exist.
Do you
I'm
know what
trying to help.
5G is?
Do I? Oh my God, bro! Just come on, Sandman. You tripping now,
5G
bro?
is just a bandwidth of frequency.
And it doesn't exist. That's what
All
you
of
trying
our
to tell you.
frequencies, all of our frequencies, all of our smartphones, our radios, our TV broadcasts have different bandwidths of frequencies. You got the AM, that's a certain bandwidth. The FM on your radio, that's a certain bandwidth. Your 1G, your 2G, they're different bandwidths. Only thing different between 3G and 5G is the bandwidth and the
For real, Mr. Sandman.
amplification and the
For real.
amplification of that bandwidth. So all you have to do is install a tower and
They don't
put the
have the
bandwidth.
towers, Mr. Sandman. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They're
Okay,
only in the
so
inner
how
city,
much you
my
think it
brother.
costs? How much you think it costs to install a tower?
I'm not see now you're pushing the goalpost, Mr. Sandman. I'm telling you, I just left there. They don't
Okay,
have those towers out there. I know
all
what
right.
the towers look like. I pass by them every day, Mr. Sandman. I know what they look like. They
But
don't
you
have it.
trying to
When
make
you
it
get
seem like 5G
Mr.
is like
Sandman,
this amazing thing. It's
can you
basic.
please listen for 15 seconds, bro?
It's
What I'm trying
basic
to tell you that
transmissions.
in America, I can see the towers. I can see the towers connection. I can see the satellites on the satellite that pushes the signal out. They don't have that. They don't have that, Mr. Sandman. I saw it for myself. They don't have it outside of the major city. You keep talking about how much it costs, what it would cost. It don't matter if it costs $5, Mr. Sandman. It's not there.
Okay.
In the year 2024, it's not there when you get outside of the major city. And that's like most major cities in Africa. That's all
Mm,
I'm saying, my brother. I'm not
yeah.
saying that it couldn't happen. I'm just saying that it's not happening.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yes, they
Well.
have phones, but they don't have the connection. That's all I'm
Yeah. That
saying.
and it's cool that you bring that up because some West African companies, I believe there's this one tech guru in Nigeria who's investing billions of dollars into infrastructure for I think it's fiber optic cables. I think his name, I think is Olakun. Dinus probably knows who he is. He's a billionaire. He's talking about installing some towers and supplying West Africa.
Guys, help me out. Maybe I missed it. So, what is the 5G got to do? Well, how do we get on 5G?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Because
very off topic.
he was saying that he went out there in the middle of the desert in Afghanistan and he saw people with cell phones. And I'm like,
Okay.
just because they have phones don't mean that they have the connection because you have to have the towers to push the signal.
I
You
mean,
get what I'm saying?
I had a
A
cell
lot of
phone out there and I had a connection, so
because you was what it was you was through the
He's
you
in the
you wasn't on no
military. Just said that he's
Afghanistan
in the
connection.
military. Come on, man.
huh?
Come on,
Oh,
Sam,
Miss
man.
Savior
Come
these
on,
days
bro.
down there. Come on.
What?
Come on, Mr. Sam, man. You better than that, bro.
Yeah,
You way better than
we
that.
had
Honest,
American
they
military
have the
bases that were
connection.
supplying towers
Afghan
for
people
signals,
are using
and
mobile
anybody
phone.
can hop on it.
Afghan people are using mobile phone in Afghanistan. We have to understand, not just all of the United States. Sometimes even 5G is about to open in Nigeria. I think the United States need China market also have money. United States owing China trillions of dollars as debt that the United States owe to the Chinese. The Chinese are selling to Africans a lot of their products. If you go to Africa, you see a lot of China product there, from their mobile phone to their washing machine, even to their cars now. You understand? So it's not just that. Yeah, America don't need China. America need a big time China. That's what they're sending their so-called secretary of whatever it is to China to negotiate every time. If China started dumping United States debt, United States will go broke. That's just the truth, bro. So they both of them need themselves. So you have to move a little bit. Know the war is not just only United States. China is doing a lot in Africa, where I'm from. So China is doing too much in Africa. We even hardly see American products anymore in Nigeria. Check the washing machine they use over there. Even to the knives, cooking, everything. Now their cars now are not challenging even the Japanese cars in Nigeria now. You understand me? So the Chinese they're pretty doing big time in Africa, maybe South America. I don't know that, but anything that is cheap and beautiful, China will replace it immediately. They are very smart, not just where you see them. I understand America is always like, oh, we're the one with the world. My brother, just a little bit.
We know China is very smart. They have the oldest civilization in the world outside
You
of
see what the
Africa.
Chinese are doing.
They're brilliant people. I mean, they're probably some of the smartest people in the world. We know that. But they might not have as much creativity, but they are very
Nigerians
smart.
bragging about China coming over there. That ain't a flex, bro.
He's not bragging. He's just
What I'm
talking about
saying
the
is
economy,
that
bro. He's telling you how big things is
it
out
doesn't
there and
matter
how big.
because what China's doing China's building markets over there, they building restaurants, they building hospital where they don't even let Africans come in now. You know what I'm saying? That's what they doing over there.
Oh, no,
See,
bro,
hold on for a second, man. Nobody interrupted. Hey, Baba, nobody interrupted you when you was talking. Nobody interrupted you talking. You talked about what the good things about China, and I'm telling you about what they doing behind the scenes, which y'all Nigerians don't like to talk about. You don't like to talk about the Nigerians whipping at Nigerians for coming to work late. You don't talk about the Chinese people beating on the women and getting them pregnant and leaving them and going back. You don't talk about that part. You don't talk about them opening up hospitals and don't let Nigerians come over there. You don't talk about how China is opening up plazas and not letting them come over there to the point that the government have to come over there and shut it down. And then they reopen it back up. You're not talking about the schools in the neighborhoods that they building over there in Nigeria, where they're not even letting Nigerians come in those neighborhoods. That's the point. That's the disingenuous. That's the disingenuous nature when Nigerians talk about China. You talk about what they do good, but you don't talk about how China is oppressing Nigerians in their own land, and Nigerians still looking up to them.
Bro, I think my brother, you get it wrong, man. You know how big Nigeria is? That two Chinese man control 230 or 220 million population, huge population. People that are very, very aggressive. That China man is a beautiful hospital. Where? Which hospital? That people are not coming in.
Are you for real?
Hold on. What you call
you want me to tell you how? Because I can send Dynasty. This all on YouTube, bro. This ain't nothing. This ain't nothing that I'm making up.
Hold on. I'm from Edo State. Edo State population.
It don't matter if you can be from Edo State. You can be from Albano State. You can be from Yoruba. What I'm saying is the truth.
You picking some.
No, I'm telling the truth.
Hold on. Let me tell you something. You see what happened? Let's save the world. When they say Africans are hungry, this kind of propaganda that came out. Hold on, I'm telling you what you say now. That's what happened in Ethiopia, in a very tiny, not even up to a district or a local government here in Nigeria, a tiny area. They blow it up. African people are hungry. They brought Makajasi, Bruce Priestler. Let's save the world. Africa hungry. That's what you say right now. You understand me? China man have no space. Yes. You can free anybody in a free world. The Nigerian government don't tell our women, oh, let me tell in America, a black American is not dating, the China man and the Indian man.
What are you talking about, bro?
No, I say you, is black American women not dating a China man and Indian man sometimes too?
He's saying there's interracial dating and shit in Africa.
It happens everywhere.
No, No, that is not. See, that's what you call conflation. I ain't say nothing about dating. You
You
know what I'm
said that
saying?
you
So,
said that the Asian.
what I said was is that Chinese men are getting African women in the village pregnant and leaving them. Period. That's what I said. I ain't say nothing about no interracial dating, getting married, being in a relationship, having a family. None of
But
that.
but he's saying that that
Not,
happens
This guy is
everywhere.
an idiot. There are a lot of
none of
Chinese
that. What I'm
who are
saying,
having families with black people.
what I'm saying is that the point that you would only talk about what China is doing good in your country, in a big ass country like Nigeria, which China shouldn't even be there. But it just shows how, like I always say, the original losers is in Africa. Because that's where that when you let another group of people come into your home and you say what they build and what they touch is so beautiful. Listen to the way you talk. It's the brainwashing. What they build, what they do is so beautiful. And
The Indians come
what you
into
do,
this
and that your
country and
legion.
start,
But that ain't the
you know, the
let me
Indians and the
finish saying what
Chinese
I'm
start
saying, man.
businesses
I got
and they
five.
thrive in this country.
I got five. I got five. I got five. Let me give it 5 more seconds. It's just the point of it is. It's just defeatism of how most Africans think. Is that with black people don't even feel like their own what they produce is good. That's why when they see Gucci, Louis, Prada, you got broke people that go steal from another broke person to go buy some white people product because we don't think our own shit is good. That's why the world look at. That's why everybody go to Africa and play on Africa. That's why African is European playground. That's why it's Asians playground. You get what I'm saying? That's why they go to the Gambia. That's why them old decrepit white people go to the Gambia for sex tourism, where you can buy a boy or a girl for $40, $50 for the night. You can rent their kids and shit. You get what I'm saying? Because of the point that you look up to them. You look up to anything that black, and then the worst ones are the African that come from Africa that moved to the UK and moved to the United States. They the most shit eaters because they sit over here and assimilate themselves with Americanism, and the only thing they do is go back home when somebody die or when somebody having a wedding, and they send a couple of naira, you know what I'm saying, and a couple of delacies back over there. They don't even want to go back. My
Okay,
doctor is
that you
Edo.
gotta
My
pass the
doctor
mic.
is Edo. My doctor
Look,
is Edo. You know what I'm saying?
African
He tells
Americans
me all the
complain
time,
about
every
Chinese and
90
Indians
days when I go
when
see
they
my
have their
doctor,
shops
he
in their
tells me he
neighborhood
don't never want to
and
go
they
back to
fleece them for all of
Nigeria.
their
He
money.
tells me that he
They go to
dread
their
going back to
convenience stores,
Nigeria.
they
So when they
patronize their
come over here,
businesses
they
and make
do
them
that.
wealthier.
It's just that
So
defeatism,
when
and I
you're complaining
understand the
about
way
Africa,
Europeans
complain
go
about
over
your own
there and take
neighborhoods
over,
where
bro.
the Chinese and the Indians are running all the businesses, all the stores in
What
those
business?
communities.
What business they run?
The corner stores,
Who
the
gives a
Chinese
nobody don't
food
give a
place.
nobody.
They
You
have
know the funny
businesses
thing?
in these
Hey Diners, you
communities.
know the funny thing
And
about it?
that's the
Black
difference.
people
The
don't
difference
even
is
want to run the
capital.
nobody
They
don't give
come
a
with
fuck
money,
about it. Nobody gives a fuck
you
about a
know.
convenience store. Are
And
you
black
fucking
people
silly?
patronize their businesses and make them
Yeah.
wealthier. And they go back home and
And
build up their countries. So
and
you're being hypocritical when you're
well that don't
criticizing
even make
Africans
sense.
for having
That that,
Chinese
that doesn't
and Asians in their
that
country
doesn't even make
when
sense.
it happens
That
here in the United
I tell you,
States.
Diners, what I'm saying is that nobody don't
Why
sit
you
up
keep
there and be
calling
like that
Diners, bro?
Exxon
Diners is not going
gas
to save
station
you. Make your
because
arguments on
Diners
your
is
own.
all boy nobody don't handle you. But Diners don't control shit. You
No,
don't control shit
Diners be
either, fuck
muting me.
nigga.
He be muting me when I get on you.
Because you
You
be
know,
talking, you lying all the damn
Hey,
time.
y'all, we gotta lay off the N word, please. No N word.
Cause you be lying all the time, Elvis. That's the reason why Diners mute you. You're
I don't lie.
out of
I
everybody,
just tell yourself about yourself.
and right there, what you just said is a lie. Today might be the only day that you don't came on this platform in the last 2 months that you didn't get caught in a lie. But what you're sitting up there
What are you
saying
talking about?
bro, come on, bro. I know you don't know what you're talking about. Everybody know you'll lie yourself for you. That's how most liars are, bro. You know what I'm saying? They start to believe their own shit they say. But what I'm saying is that
You
the neighborhoods, the corner store, that is we stay in Atlanta. Nobody blacks wants to run those. A black person can open up one of them business. It ain't hard to open up a corner store. Black people don't want to do it. Black people don't want to sit up in no convenience store selling motherfucking cigarettes and drinks and all. They don't want to do that. If they want to do it, they could. It don't cost no more than 10 or 15,000 to open up a corner store, Elvis.
I mean,
That's
you
the
stupid if
difference.
you think it takes 10 or 20,000 to open up a corner
It don't,
store.
boy. You have no idea what you're talking about. No idea what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? That these it's just like a franchise. That's all you have to do is put down on it. You have no idea what you're talking about because you're a worker. You don't have no idea about business. That's all it
The
takes.
Chinese are
15,000.
fleecing your people. They go in there and buy honey buns, the little grip, or soda. They spend 10, 15 bucks every day. They're taking your money out of your pocket and
So
sending it back to
what?
China. They're fleecing you
And
because the quote unquote business builders are not producing what the people in the community need. So the
what the
Chinese
hell?
are
I
meeting
have no
those
idea what he's
needs
talking
and
about, bro.
taking the money and using it for themselves to build up their
I have
country and
no
build up
idea. I
their
have
own
no idea
self.
what you're talking about.
That's what I'm telling you. You say that you're not a worker, you're a
Black Americans are
businessman,
not complaining.
but your
Black
people in
Americans
these
are not.
communities are going
Black
to the
Americans are
Chinese
not
food place,
complaining.
are going to the Chinese nail shop, are going to the Indian man, convenience store and spending all their money there.
What?
And you're not getting a dime of it.
We don't want
The
no.
Chinese
Oh my
and the
God.
Indians are. So that's the
And
difference.
we don't want to do it. This is the thing about
That's what
it,
I'm saying. You don't want to do it, and they're doing it, and they're
Uh-huh.
reaping the benefit from your people. That's the point that
Yeah.
I'm making.
Okay, but then
So
that's the same thing. What you said don't make no fucking sense. Cause that's the same thing with
I just
athletic
made it
foot.
clear,
That's the
crystal
same.
clear.
But
You
no,
understand it?
that doesn't make any sense. Because if a black people wanted to open up a restaurant,
There is a
they
need
could,
in your
but they
community
don't
that
wanna-
you guys are not fulfilling, and the Chinese and the
Huh?
Indians are fulfilling it. That's the point that I'm
Huh?
making, and you understand it.
Yeah. And that's the part that you don't understand. We don't look up to them motherfuckers at all.
Nobody say you look up to them. I'm just telling you, they're
But
taking the
then
money
that
out of
was
your
my
pockets.
point.
They're taking the money out
But
of your
see, that's what I'm
pockets.
saying. You making another point that I didn't even say. I said that Africans look up to Chinese people.
You
How do
said they didn't
how do
want.
African
You
look
said
up
they
to
didn't want to
Chinese
do the
people?
job.
Shut your stupid ass up.
How do they look up to Chinese people?
Africans look up to anybody that ain't black.
You
Kiss
sound
their
dumb.
ass.
People look up to people who can give them employment, whether they're black, whether they're Chinese or white. When you come with capital and you have a business and you can employ, people look up to you for employment. That's the difference.
Dinah, let me ask you a quick question. Can Passport Brad that ain't got no money can go over there and damn near bang up any African chick he want to, Dinah, with no money just because he white?
Depends on the country. Kenya, more than likely, yes.
You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is just the color of your skin.
Well, hold on, I got one for you, Elvis. Just in Liberia last year, that pastor, that missionary, married, has the African girl, has the Liberian girl, slits her throat, goes to court and gets off.
Yeah, he quiet on that one. Speak up, lying ass Liberia. You talking about your country?
I mean, Dinah is, is that a question or is that a statement?
However you want to take it.
Yeah, the question was a statement. However you want to take it.
No, it's a statement, so I have nothing to say to it. It's not a question, so.
What you think about it? What you think about it, there, Elvin? I'll put it in the form of a question since you ignorant. What you think about that, Elvin?
I don't answer your questions, man. When you go to jail 5 times and been ripped in the ass, I don't talk to you.
Damn, you know everything happened to me, don't you? You sound just
you
like
said it. You said as much yourself, bro. You stole your whole life story on this platform.
I said, yeah. So you know about gay stuff that happened to me? That's what you're saying?
That's what I'm telling you, because that's how you portray yourself.
That's how you telling me that? So you telling me about gay stuff?
Yeah, you like going to prison, man.
I like it, right?
And you're so imaginative how people be on their knees and you call yourself the dick kisser and all of those things. So I mean, I'm just putting 1 and 2 together, bro.
Yeah, man. I see that.
You're so sassy. You talk like a woman. You run your mouth.
It's just showing right.
That's all you do.
How feminine you are, bro. Because this what females
you think masculine man wants to go to jail 4 or 5 times, spend multiple years in jail? You think that's masculine? You think that's what masculine man wants to do?
This what you call shame?
That's not what masculine man wants to do, man. They don't want to spend years of their life in jail, probably getting butt raped in jail, and come out and become feminine like you. And their first thing they do is to come on platforms and disrespect black women. They have a self-hatred for themselves, and they project that onto black women. That's who you are, bro. I figure you out. I
You
have
figured it out?
dissected you multiple times. This
You
is
know
who you are.
everything, don't you?
You
You
yap,
sound
but
just like
underneath it, you're a
and you
weak
psychic.
person who
You
attacked
just
the
like a
weakest
female.
among us. That's who you
You
are.
sound just like a chick, bro.
No, you're
Just
the one
like a
that sound
chick,
like a chick. Because the first
bro.
thing you run to was you started insulting Dre's mom.
You know what
You
the
started
funny thing?
insulting
You
people.
know what the
You
funny
start to
thing
insult
about you,
black
bro?
women. That's
You
what
know
weak
what the
men
funny
do.
thing about you,
Weak men
Elvis?
beat on black women. They
Nobody
insult them.
agrees
They
with
make
you,
them feel
bro.
lesser because they themselves have a an inferiority
Uh huh.
complex. They think they're
Right.
competing with black women. And in
Right.
most cases, black women are doing
Mm-hmm.
better than you. They're smarter than you. They're more educated than you. You're just a weak
Uh
man
huh.
who can't
Uh huh.
stand the fact that black women
Uh
don't
huh.
look up to you because you're not a leader. You're a
Uh huh.
jailbird. You sold
Uh huh.
drugs in your neighborhood.
I
You're a
did.
low life, mash mouth
Uh huh.
talking, and you don't have the intellect to even engage some of
Wow.
these women that you
Uh
try
huh.
to insult. That's who you are, bro. We
You know the
figure you
funny
out.
thing.
We
You know
figure
the
you out.
funny thing about it. I'm so glad that I'm in an industry that I don't have to deal with sugar boys like this, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, you go to
Mostly
jail.
logical
That's where all
people,
the
bro.
sugar boys are. And
Bro,
you probably been turned into a sugar boy yourself in jail.
yeah,
Huh?
probably. Uh
Huh?
huh.
Yeah.
Hey, Elvin, listen. Won't you do this? Put some bass in your voice when you talk, bro. You get what I'm saying? Like this is the funny thing, bro.
Like
Nobody
I
agrees
said,
with
my
you,
friend,
Elvis.
you've probably been
Nobody
butt ripped
agrees with you,
multiple
bro.
times in jail.
Uh huh.
That's my point. I've
Probably.
never been to jail. I never even been
Uh
arrested.
huh. Uh
Smart
huh.
men don't get arrested.
Right.
Smart men follow the law, and
Smart man don't get arrested.
they don't go to jail.
Right.
They
So
don't go to
only
jail and
dumb
get
people.
butt
So
ripped,
hold on for a
come out
second,
with a
Daddy.
hatred for black women,
Let me push it.
and every
Let me get it
instance
right
they
quick,
get,
Dad.
they attack black women unprovoked.
Only dumb people get arrested.
Yeah, people who go sell drugs at 14-year-old, they're stupid and they
Uh huh.
get arrested and go to jail. Like
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
only dumb people go to jail.
Yeah, stupid people like yourself. And
Right.
people
Right.
who
Right.
think they're
Understand.
smart enough to
Uh
commit
huh.
crime, but they're not. They get caught and they go to jail. So they're stupid.
If I'm so dumb, then how do I make over 300 some thousand
I
dollars
don't
a year?
care about that. You went to jail multiple
But
times. You
no.
sold
You
drugs in
said,
your community.
hold on.
It tells you that you're stupid. Whatever you're doing now, that's different than what you did before.
Let me use your logic. So some type of way I got smart.
Bro, you
When did I
just
get
saying you make
smart?
$300,000. It doesn't mean a damn thing to me. I can tell you I make $1 million. What does that mean? Do I care how much money you make? It's about your character, and your character tells me that you lack character.
You're
Your
flailing,
character
bro.
tells me you lack character because you're weak. You attack black women. You cuss at everybody that you engage in. You insult people. That tells me that you're mentally weak.
You flailing, Elvis. So
You're
Elvis,
mentally weak. Everybody on this platform knows it.
Elvis,
You're the resident clown who thinks that insulting people makes a point. It doesn't. It makes you look weak.
If
And
I'm
that's
so
who you are.
dumb,
You're a weak male.
then how do I run my own business then, Elvis?
I don't care about that. That's not your value. You're an idiot if you think money makes you who you are. Your character makes you who you are. And that tells you that. That's why you thought selling drugs and making drug money was going to make you somebody, but it didn't. It just turned your ass into a jailbird. That's what it did for you.
How can I be dumb if I make over 300,000?
You were dumb by selling drug in your neighborhood, infesting it with drug and going to jail multiple times. You were dumb because you have multiple baby mamas. You have created broken homes. You're not a man who's raising a family. You probably sit in your truck every day, driving, going to places, and you have no leadership in the household that is ran by you. That makes you weak. Having money doesn't make you a man. Having a family, building a strong family, having character, having integrity, having respect for others, those are the things that make you a man. You lack all of those things. So money doesn't make you who you are, my friend.
You say I don't run my own household, sugar boy?
That's what I said. You're on that truck all the time for 20, 15, 14 hours. Somebody probably taking care of your baby mama at home. And you're probably going to get another divorce, have another baby mama, just like you have multiple baby mamas that you're not in the kid's life. They're not in the household with you. There's an interview with Cam Newton. He had all that money, but he made a lot of broken homes. And that woman put him in his place because he think he made all these millions in the NFL. That means that he can support these kids, but he's not physically there raising a family. And that's causing a lot of broken homes in Black America.
What the hell does Cam Newton got to do with anybody?
Because it's just an example that he has money, but he's no different than the likes of you who have multiple baby mamas and have multiple kids who they're not there every day helping to raise them.
Hey, Dana, let me ask you a question.
Don't
How
change the
many? What's the
topic. Don't change the
percentage?
subject.
What's? I'm finna help you out
Ah,
for a
no, no,
second.
no, no, no.
Hey,
Don't change
Dana,
the topic. You
what's
know,
the
people can be
percentage
afraid of
of
you when you come on this
what's
platform,
the
but I'm not afraid
percentage
of you. I'm
of
not a
black
coward. I
women
will
that's
engage you any
single?
day of the week.
Bro, can you shut the fuck up?
Now
God
you're getting
damn, we
emotional. Now
can't
you're
talk
getting
at the
mad.
same time
Now you're
because
getting mad, sissy
you
boy.
gonna
All right,
start running your mouth.
guy. Let's go ahead. Hustle
Hey,
smart. I
Dad,
got
let
a
me ask you a
question.
question real quick. Hey, what's the single black mother rate in the black community?
Are you asking Elvis?
I'm asking you that.
I don't know the statistics.
But have you ever
About
heard of it?
80%.
Have you ever heard?
It was is that 80%? No,
Is
is it?
that
I
80%? 80%. This clown is sitting up here talking about 80% of black women are single with kids. Like this is the weird part. See, our community, Dinus, we have a single mother community. Matter of fact, it's promoted. You get what I'm saying? Like it's all on the internet that's telling these women the divorce rate is high, but it's higher amongst black people. You get what I'm saying? Because we're the only group of people that will sit up there and be married to somebody 30, 40, 50, 60 years and then want to get a divorce. You know what I'm saying? Because of the way that the black women are supported. See, the problem in the black community is that the black woman is supported at the black male demise. You get what I'm saying? Because it's the way that the system works. Black men are not creating business. And the most business that black men are creating are self-business, just like myself. I can't hire nobody else. You know what I'm saying? Diners, I don't know about your business, but most of your employees is in Africa, right? Right? Am I right or
correct.
wrong?
No, correct.
So what I'm saying is that the business that most black men are operating, we seeing that we're not getting the support of black women because black men don't sit up there and be a attack dog for white supremacy like black women do. Black women have no problem being the guard dog because it's money in the gender war. It's money into keeping black, because as the black community implodes within itself. You get what I'm saying? The Latino rate keep going up, Dinus. So all that shit he talk about, it don't make no sense because our numbers is going down. They're either going down or they being stagnated. So even with the 3% of Africans, it still ain't nothing but 40 to 42 million black people total. You get what I'm saying? And there's over 75 million Latinos. So all that stuff that he talking to is irrelevant. That's why a lot of black men that saying that, man, listen, I just need to open up my business and you know what I'm saying? I need to do my thing. You get what I'm saying? And that's what most black men are doing. It doesn't matter if they got kids. You know the funny part in America, they got it to the point that black women, when you go to any court for a child support, it's more black women in there than anything. Not because they ain't getting no money, because they weaponize the system against black men. Because that's how envious. That's how envious a black woman is. They'll use a black woman will get you arrested and get your license took and still be wanting you to give her money. Will send the police and the sheriff to your job, Dinus, and still be wanting money. Like let a black woman see you at the mall with another girl. You know what I'm saying? She got them going to the child support office the next day. It ain't because you not giving them money. It's because you're not doing what you want them to do. But the funny part is, Dinah, black women don't even like simps like Elvis. They'll use them. They'll use him as a megaphone because he's feminine. They'll use him as a megaphone, but no woman would want to be with a dude like that because a simp is the one. After a simp get through taking up for a black woman, if the black woman ever do them wrong or go sideways, they get emotional about them because they feel like they put themselves on the front line for a black woman. You know what I'm saying? I fought for you, black woman.
Hustle, let's get back to topic.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Hey man, I just went where the conversation went. So it got
No,
personal.
it's all good. No, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
But see, this is the thing when it comes to the topic at hand. At the end of the day, with California doing the Black Caucus, you said something wrong, Dinah. You said they stalled it. No, they killed the bill. They killed the reparation bill. And you know why they killed it? It's because the only thing that Governor Newsom had to say that, he had some questions about it. He didn't say that he wasn't for it. And then the Black Caucus gave him a way out. They was like, well, we didn't want to bring it to the desk if it was going to be a dead bill. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't say he wasn't going to agree to it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't say, he said he saw some issues, so we didn't even bring in the bill. So all of that reparations talk and all of that, they he did that thing about having a study, and that got black people happy. Diners, only thing they did is said that they was gonna do a study. And why would California, whose population of black people is down to what, 8%, 8 or 9%?
Right.
Why would California give black people reparations when it only would work for California? And 92% of the black people already don't left California, Dinas. It didn't even make no sense when I first heard it. But all you had was dumb sugar boy, you know what I'm saying, with thongs on like Elvis, sit over there like, look, the Democrats, they talking about reparations. Because all you have to do is talk about things when it comes to certain black people. All you have to do is give them a little razzle and dazzle. All you got to do is give these feminine dudes like Elvis and Lee Andre, all you got to do is give them a little hope. You ain't got to give them no facts at all. And you'll keep them around. Like LBJ said, you give these black people free houses and free food stamps, they'll be voting for you for 70, 80 years. And I pass the mic.
So Elvis, I was going to ask you. You had said that you kind of that when black people do good, all people do good. But there's nothing in particular like they kind of that politically that was kind of being done for us specifically for being black. But it's a lot of different disproportionate stats and shit out. You know what I'm saying? Where black people was heavily affected. So I'm like, a lot of people, like crime and shit, wealth. Like he said, single mothers is like, I think y'all said like 80% or something like that. But it's like,
Yep.
yeah. So like, what's being done in that sense? A lot of times people say kind of you got to handle it outside of the government, outside of courts and stuff. But like, obviously, courts is intertwined with divorce and all that shit. So like, what kind of like, wouldn't that be something to kind of hold y'all, the black vote for, to be like, hey, you know what? Well, if y'all want our vote, you're gonna have to fix this. You know what I mean? How our relationships go and shit as far as divorces. Or you know what I mean? You gotta do something about this wealth inequality and stuff, other than just saying like reparations one day. Like y'all, like we've been voting for them for a long time. Let's keep it real. Like,
That's a good question, bro. And the reality is, if you want government to get into personal relationships, like the
I
root
mean, I don't
cause,
want them in, but they're already in. I just want to be clear on that. But go ahead.
right? The government can't fix the divorce rate in this country. It's about 50% or even a little more, across all, ethnicities in this country. So black people getting divorced, it's not something that the government can fix. When you talk about wealth inequality, that's something that many people have known for many, many years. And there are certain programs that may help some people, with wealth inequality. Like, for example, it hasn't happened yet, but Kamala Harris proposed giving people $25,000 for a down payment on a house. The equity that you have in your house is usually the base of most people's wealth. And if that home is paid off and it gets passed down through generations, that's a bare rock to build wealth. So people who are of the lower class and qualify for those kind of grants and those kind of programs can start to build wealth, and most black people would benefit from it. So it's not exclusively for black people, but those who are the poorest, and black people, have a large population who are in the lower class, they will
The
benefit from
poverty,
those
yeah.
things.
What's
But
the
So
but
there's not
but
policy that's
particular.
going to be tailored specifically for black people, but
No,
most
well,
policy tend to help black people at a disproportionate rate, especially
yeah,
the
How
poor
the hell
class.
she gonna give
I
them
feel you. But
$25,000? How the
hold
hell
on,
that's
bro.
gonna happen?
That's just a
Let me
down
hold
payment,
on,
like
bro.
that. But what's the income threshold? Because usually there's an income threshold in terms of,
Exactly.
Yeah, first time first
how
time home
much you can buy
buyers. That's
a
one of the
home.
the qualifier. First time home buyers.
It's still a salary threshold, dummy.
I mean,
So
bro,
I'm gonna
I'm
say
already
like,
done with you. I'm not even going to
You
engage with
have
you
no idea
anymore.
what you're
This
talking
whole
because you don't know what you're talking about, dummy.
nah,
what's the
bro.
what's the salary threshold?
No, do you know what it is? You
What's the
sit up there and
salary
brought it up.
threshold? What's the
I'm
salary
not gonna,
threshold?
bro.
the
This is the
amount of
funny
money that
part about you.
There's nothing about a salary threshold. It says for first time home buyers. What's the salary threshold,
Now I don't know the
Mr. Smart
metrics on
Man?
that.
No, no. Let him answer.
Bro, I ain't gonna help you out with your
I ain't gonna
dumbass
help you. I ain't
argument,
gonna
boy.
help you. You just like confusion. That's what you are. You
Look,
like confusion,
see
and then
you.
you can't handle it
Hey,
when somebody bring that
bro,
smoke
you don't lost your
back to you.
damn mind. You sit up there talking about a
What's the
proposal.
salary
Do
threshold
you
then?
do
Say
you
it.
hold on? Do you understand, dummy, that in order for
What's
something
the
like that to happen,
salary
it would have to go
threshold?
through the House and the Senate? Stupid.
What's the salary
Well, I'm
threshold?
saying that's
We're
what we
not
can
talking about
vote
the
for.
Yeah, he
legislative
don't even
process.
understand that. Like
We're
that's
asking you,
what I'm
what's the
telling you
salary
about these.
threshold? You
That's
said
what
there's a
I'm trying to
salary
tell you
threshold.
about these mama boys that support her. You're
What's the
talking about a
salary threshold, bro?
proposal. It's talking about a proposal.
You
It's the
just like
same.
to
You know what?
start
It's
beef,
the
but
same
when we
way.
start
It's the
cooking you,
same
you run for
way
diners
when
for
Don.
protection.
It's the same
That's
way
all
when
you are,
Donald
bro. You're
Trump said that he was going to
weak-minded.
build the wall. The money had to come from somewhere. You get what I'm saying? So where you think the money gonna come from? See, they don't even talk about that point because I told you they already like it's symbolism. Somebody
I'm
give us
talking about the
if you
vote.
could
Like,
give first time home owners 25,000, it would have been done. That shit got to go through the House and the Senate, and you got to have a super majority to do that. It ain't gonna
Who's
even
the
get through the
idiot?
House.
This is a
It ain't
plan. This
it
is a
ain't gonna
new
even get
plan
through
that
the
she's
House.
proposing. This
It
is
ain't
one of
gonna
the things
get
that she
it
wants to
don't
do to help
matter.
lift poor
It
people
doesn't
up
matter,
from
stupid.
poverty into
It
the middle
still got to
class.
go through the House and the Senate. Do you not
Yeah, just
understand
like
that?
other things will pass through the House and Senate, she intends to do that.
Boy, then
Yeah,
why would the
what would be the
Republicans
income threshold? Because we,
who has the
Why
House,
you
why the
yelling, bro?
hell would
You're
they
so
do that?
emotional.
Boy, you
Stop
so
yelling. We can
stupid.
hear you, man.
You so
This
stupid,
is
bro.
modern technology. Stop
You don't
yelling.
even
Your
understand.
blood pressure is probably
You
going
don't even
up.
understand nothing, bro. You just be talking just like a
Yeah,
female.
you
That's
understand
why
everything, you
that
mash
I
mouth
see
country
why you
bumpkin.
vote. I see why you vote for Kamala. Cause you
I
talk the
sure want
same way
to
like a
vote for
female.
Kamala. I sure want to vote for Kamala. Shut up, man. Let other people talk.
Damn you feminine as fuck.
Nah, you feminine. You're the one yelling. Go ahead, Andre or
yeah.
DeAndre.
So what I was asking was that, like, yeah, in terms of the threshold, like, have you thought about that in terms of the $25,000? Because I know everybody wouldn't benefit based on the fact that they would have to make a certain amount of income in order for them to even qualify.
You
So
don't
far,
understand that.
what she put out there wasn't based on income. Her proposal or the qualifiers were that you have to be a first time home buyer. I think you had to have paid your rent on time for 2 years. Those are the two qualifiers. Now, this is not a fully completed plan yet, but these are the things that she proposed and she put that out there. So for some people who bought their first home, maybe it got foreclosed on, you probably won't qualify for this. If
But
you
I
haven't
know that
paid your
most
rent on
black
time
people
for two
wouldn't
years, you
benefit
probably
from it
wouldn't
because
qualify
most
for it.
black people don't even own a home.
And that's the reason why she's trying to get people into this. So if you've been a
But I'm
good
saying, but
a
so you
renter,
saying that there's no income threshold whatsoever?
He's
no,
stupid,
the
bro.
25,000 is a down payment,
Yeah,
right?
that's a
So if
down
you
payment. But
if
I'm
you've
saying
been
income
renting,
threshold as far as like how much people have to make in order to even
that's what
be
I'm telling
considered a
you.
buyer.
Her plan doesn't give an income threshold. Maybe that will come later, but as she put
so,
it out there, there's no income
so,
threshold.
so, so, could
There's
I
certain
say something though
qualifiers
with
that she
that?
stated, and I'm just regurgitating that to you.
So, with that
Yeah,
though,
you
Elvis,
regurgitate
like,
like a chick.
no,
Bro,
bro. You
get off
no,
my
you got a
nuts,
good
bro.
point out,
Be
bro. But
quiet. We're not even talking to you.
I'm saying, like, all right. With that said, though, how many? I mean, you're gonna have to see that if a policy is that blanket that it's going to affect us just by our population, the least, just because we only have 13% of the population in the U.S. So those kind of things don't necessarily benefit us as a people because of our population. You see what I'm saying?
Okay,
If it
I'll,
is,
I'll take your points. What other policy you think would benefit black people in particular
I mean,
that won't benefit other
I
groups of
brought one
people,
up
but
earlier.
mostly
It's
black
not
people?
nothing actually that's actually proposed, but I've kind of seen a way where it could have been. But I think people got to start thinking of that, like actually what our vote is worth and like what we actually get for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying it is a specific policy. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. That's why I'm kind of bringing it up. But it's like, you know what I mean? I think even that way of thinking is just kind of like, well, we're not really going to benefit from this stuff. Like, it's not really our policy. It's not going to help us
What
for our
about what
vote.
about reparations?
What
Boy,
about
shut your stupid ass up.
You know,
it?
some people
Boy,
want
you
reparations,
retarded,
right?
bro.
That's
So
going to
I'm
be
gonna tell you what
exclusive
on the
for
reparations
descendants
front
of
though.
slaves.
Yeah, but reparations, I'm gonna just put it this way: like, even if it is to happen, it's not really like tangible like right now. I feel like, and they gonna keep kind of kicking it down the road. And I'm like, but there's still elections passing where there's other things we can kind of get done. I think before we get to even that. So,
Right. So
like,
that's what I'm saying. That's the most far-fetched, policy that you can probably get that will benefit you. But in the interim, what else could you think about? That's what I'm saying.
like
You can't think about anything that will pass the House and the Senate and the president to sign it that will exclusively benefit black people. That's the question.
I
And
mean,
most people can't probably think about anything.
I could think of those type of things. I'm saying if you have like how it used to be with college, you know what I'm saying? College used to be where it was a lot of financial aid and shit specifically for black people that was trying to get into these fields and stuff.
Yeah, that still happens. People
So
get
yeah,
Pell-Grants and
so
things
that's
that
one
help black
type of
people.
so that's the
Right.
one
More
type of
funding for HBCUs
yeah.
could that be one?
So yeah, but what I'm saying though is like that's a start to like kind of what's like, all right, well, this is what we kind of think of when we formulating, all right, this is a grant that specifically, like you said with the houses. What if it was to give somebody, let's say African Americans past a certain income threshold that proved you could actually afford to pay a house? I know where bro was going with that. And you know what I mean, we'll give you the $25,000 down payment or something like that, where it's going to help first time home buyers, but even make it even of a smaller bracket by just saying first time African American home buyers. That
Exactly.
to me, that's actually a better press towards reparations than just like just giving money out. But yeah,
At the end of the day, anything that comes from the government got to be paid back, and it has to be voted on. You get what I'm saying? And on something like that, it has to have a 2/3 majority. When you're talking about giving out free stuff, why y'all don't think that Obamacare got repealed? The mandate. You can't mandate that 25,000. It's not even feasible because this is where you call dumbass black people don't understand economics. Because if it's a million, if it's over 350 people, 360 some million people, and most people are rent. It's this. The thing about it is to sit up and think that it's not it's a threshold for everything. And excuse me, and the first time home buyer thing already exists. It already exists. So she's
yeah,
talking
but
about. See, hold on. Let me finish. Let me figure this. This just shows you how ignorant this sugar boy is. The first time home buyer program already exists. But the thing about it, she wasn't even smart enough to say that she's talking about replacing it. She's talking about putting 25,000 on top of it already, which don't even make no sense. It don't even make no sense financially. So that means that if that's to happen, you know what that happen? It's a domino effect. That means that the interest rate gonna go up. That means that the houses gonna triple. You get what I'm saying? The sellers, the people that own houses and sell houses, buy houses and sell houses, gonna jack up the price. They're gonna jack up the price the same amount that she's giving away. They're gonna put that on top of it plus interest. They
So
see
did they say
these are the
25,000? Did they say up to 25,000? Because those are two
no,
different
she
things.
don't. This what. Let me tell you exactly what she said. She said $25 straight up, Leandre. Not no 5, 10. She just did a blanket thing like that. It ain't no blanket thing with anything. Cause still you got to get the loan from the government. Where you gonna get the loan at? Just because you pay rent, that don't mean you qualify for a loan.
So in other
You
words,
know
it's
what I'm
not a
saying?
housing grant;
Hold
it's a
on.
loan.
I just want to try to, Leandre. All I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give people context. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to understand because I own a house. I own a business, and it ain't just getting a down payment can help you get no fucking house. Your interest rate got to be your credit score got to be
Credit, yep.
good.
Yeah,
You
you're
know what
right
I'm saying?
about that.
Like this is the thing with black people that's saying stupid shit like this to try to get you to follow a woman. Just sit up there and just throwing proposals out there. You know, how about this? How about this? Coming up with a program to get more lawyers out here to help black people with their credit score get good, to get these hospital bills off your credit score to the point that things that drag your credit score down. See, let me tell you something about ignorant people like this that sit up there and try to tell you what you probably doing and what probably happened to you. My credit score, bro, is 826. I can sign my name on anything I want to with no money down, no help. If I wanted to right now, I can go pull a Range Rover off the lot right now with just my signature. You get what I'm saying? I can go. My borrowing power is 175,000 cash. Where I can go walk in the bank right now, and walk out with 175,000. I got credit card balances at $60,000. You see what I'm saying? But this coming from you listen to somebody that's a worker. You know what I'm saying? His mind frame as a worker, so he doesn't even understand economics. So he heard the word 25,000, and just like a female, he go to twerking in the mirror with his leggings on because he don't know nothing about it. So it just sounds good. It doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? And the lending part has gotten even harder for banks to lend money. They don't care about the bank system. Don't care about the government. Even if that was the fact, Leandre, that they would give 25,000, the bank want to look at how much money you make. They don't care about you paying no rent for 2 years.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it is about your credit, it is about your income, and it's about your well, I guess those are the two main things that they do look at when it comes to, buying a home. But
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, Leandre. He talked about the end goal, monopoly getting all the way around the board.
I mean, working class people wouldn't benefit from it because most working class people make less than the threshold that requires.
Leandre, I swear to God, that's the smartest thing you don't say today. Smartest thing, and I'm not trying to insult you either. That's the smartest thing you don't say today, because you got to go through a whole rigmarole just to get to what she's talking about. So that's what I'm saying.
DeAndre, let me give you a suggestion, right? Go on to Kamala Harris website and read the plan, and it will give you more details, and you'll have a good understanding of what she's proposing.
It don't matter what he's saying, because Leandre, you know for a fact it go by your income. It go by your debt, how much you when they look at when that bank want with your statement. Let me explain to you as somebody that's a homeowner, Leandre. When I went and bought my house, they didn't just look at how much money I made, Leandre. They looked at how much money was gathered in my checking or savings after bills came out. They wanted to look at, you know how sometimes they got them now with your bank account. It'll tell you, like, they'll say, Leandre, you spent this much money as you brought in. You get what I'm saying? So they looking at that. These banks are looking at you as a 30-year. Most black people get 30-year mortgage, Leandre. I make over $300,000 a year, so I picked the 15-year mortgage.
So how much does the average house cost? How much does the average house cost?
The average house right now
even just the
is
down
at the
payment,
market
not even the whole cost, but just the down payment.
A down payment, you got to have
usually after that 20% down.
Some companies want 30%. See, he don't even know what he's talking about because he don't own a house. They want 30%.
I mean, bro, I don't even have the energy to argue with you.
Let me ask you
I own two homes. I own a condo and I own a house.
But where you own it?
So what are you talking about? I mean, you just come on this platform and say all these crazy things, and you think everybody wants to come on here and tell everybody what they have?
You don't own no goddamn house and no condo as a worker. Well, you work a regular 9 to 5.
Who told you I was a worker, you idiot?
Well, shut your stupid ass up, man. But anyway, Leandre, you know it's a process.
You're just a low life,
Boy,
regular pookie
I'm a dude
who comes on a platform and try to project himself as something he's not.
Yours. That's what I am.
That's who you are.
I'm a dude that makes more money than you, and credit score is better than yours.
I don't care if you make more money or your credit score is better than me. It shows you that you're a weak mill. You have no integrity. Your character is flawed. You're lacking so many capacities.
I tell you something. I tell you what.
That's what you're lacking, bro.
Bank of America. I wouldn't care what a
How can I ask a question when this emotional female is on the platform?
Well, you
she
straight
keeps
up
yapping.
Hey.
All right, y'all. Let's come on. Let's.
Hey, let me say this one thing, Daddy. This is the funny part when somebody come on here, start talking about economics, and then you put them on blast, and then they start talking about some stuff that they don't even know. They start talking about somebody's character. I'm not talking about character. Don't give a damn.
No, character matters most.
Daddy, can I finish?
That's what matters most.
Can I finish saying what I'm saying?
Go ahead. Give me a close out.
This is the thing, because Bank of America don't give a damn about what happened to me in my past. Bank of America cares about my business, the cost of my business, and the cost of my house, my credit score, and how much money I got in the bank. That's what they care about. Anything you talking about right now that has nothing to do with it. Listen, I don't care about you talking about the character. You can talk about character all day. you MLK sucker. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying about, we're talking about business, and none of the stuff he's saying will help you get from point A to point B up into that loan office at a bank, Leandre. Am I right or wrong, Leandre?
I mean, you
Like
make a
I told
point.
you, Leandra, go read her plan. You'll get all the details in there, and you'll understand it in more depth. Don't
Yeah, I
listen
mean,
to this
Leandre,
guy
you
who
don't
just
let
like to babble
Leandre, you was on the
and brag about what he
we was
says he
talking
has
about
that
this the
hasn't
other
been
day about
verified.
her website. What's the only thing on her website, Leandre, talking about donations when we looked at it? Right or wrong, Leandre?
yeah, I mean, at the time, she didn't really have any policies on
And that was
the
when that
landing
was
page.
though. Hold on for a second. When that was, Leandre? How long ago that's been?
It's been at least a month or two. So,
That ain't been a month. We were just
or
on when you was
at
on.
least maybe a few weeks.
Okay, there you go. A couple of weeks. The only thing she had on her platform is 2 weeks. See, this is what they do, Leandre. It's the same thing what Ricky Smiley did when he was talking all the stuff about what they did. They can't tell you what she did. They're gonna tell you to go read it. See, I can tell you the process of getting a loan, Leandre. I can tell you the process of getting a business. I ain't gonna tell you to go read it, Leandre.
So
Ask me a
Elvis, is
question.
$25,000 enough to actually put a down payment on a home? Because I don't know. I mean, $25,000 might not really be much these days. I mean, because of
No.
inflation and things like that. So
Think about it like this, Leandre. The only way you can get a $25,000, even if that was possible, you have to get one of these worn down HUD houses that they giving away that they using for Section 8, bro. See, they ain't tell you about that part. You know what I'm saying? Most houses now with the inflation up, they rented about 300,000. They want 30%. So she's talking about even if she could.
If I can interject real quick, if you qualify for FHA, you could put down only 3.5%.
That's
so
what
how
I'm
much would
saying.
that calculate to?
It depends on the price of the house. It depends on the
Cause
price of the
based on the
house.
house.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm saying is those FHA houses, even the people that's selling them, they're not like what I'm saying is none of the houses in my neighborhood, Leandre, is FHA. None of them.
No.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Because it's smart. The house doesn't have to be FHA. It's just you qualify for it.
I get it. What I'm saying is they're not taking. What I'm saying is every house in it is through one company. That's what I'm saying. Well, let me say it like that. One company owns all these houses like that. So they're not taking no FHA loans. Even when I tried to get my house here, they weren't taking FHA loans. So let me say it like that, Leandre. They wasn't accepting FHA loans in here in the neighborhood that I'm living in. So what I'm saying is to get that type of loan, you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
You have to go
I
to
see what you're saying because it's so competitive now that they don't have to.
That's my whole. Believe me,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
I
got you.
So let me just finish the point. I'm trying to understand, like Leandre. I'm telling you like this, bro. I had nobody helping me. Nobody. I had to sit up there and go through that shit line for line. That's what somebody taught me. You know what I'm saying? That read that shit line for line. Look at all the fine print. And that's what we don't do, Leandre. We don't see that. You just hear 25,000 black people like, yeah, 25,000. What the fuck you talk about? If the house is 300,000, the bank won't 30%, Leandre.
So 30%
That's
is like
almost
25,000.
they want 30% of the 300,000.
Oh, the 300,000.
That's all.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So most houses today, for a house that you want, is 30,000. Unless you're gonna live in some old raggedy piece of shit. I change that. Unless you're gonna buy a fixer upper. Do you want a fixer upper, Leandre, or you want that house ready made?
I want it already made.
If you want it ready made, you're gonna spend at least 300,000. You can buy a bullshit fixer upper. I'm a professional. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time to do no fixer up. You know what I'm saying? And that the funny part is that I'm at home every day, Leandre. I'm at home every day and I make over 300 some $1,000. And I'm telling you that the process of going through that $25,000 wasn't gonna help. Because actually the bank wanted to know where I got the 20. If I had a $25,000
So that
check,
$25,000 would just be a quarter of that money, then, right? Because you said 30%.
pretty much.
So
There
basically,
you
it would
go,
be
Leandre.
$100,000 as a down payment.
There you go, Leandre. It ain't even everything that will help you get the house.
So yeah, that wouldn't be enough. That's just a quarter of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to come up with the other thing for the down payment, unless it's from one of these. It's causing what type of house it is, Leandre. So if it's in like a black neighborhood where it's ran down, you ain't got hardly no backyard, or the house is like 30, 40 years old, but that ain't where you want to live at, Leandre. Ain't nowhere in the world no man sit up there and want something. You ain't gonna get that in the inner city like that. Now, when Dynas got his house, he got his house when the market was
It was
low and the house
cheap.
is cheap.
It was dirt
Dynas
cheap.
Dynas house was dirt cheap. He got in the market early. Now you go in the same neighborhood that Dynas stay in.
You
The
ain't
whole
listen. You ain't buying nothing for less than 500,000.
Do you get what I'm saying, Leandre?
And you said as a down payment, just as a down payment in general.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, it's just so the market's so competitive now. So
Yeah.
back when I bought my house, like it was still kind of the trap. So on my street there were bandos, and so people were scared to come over here. So the house I bought was on the market
He
for
ain't
like a
lying.
year. So I came in, I made an offer, had an FHA loan. They were like, okay, whatever. Now what's going on? The demand is so high that I might have FHA, but if somebody comes in cash or somebody comes in with a better offer as far as loans, like 20, or I put 20 or 30% down, and the loan is more attractive, they'll skip over you and go with another
They'll go to
offer.
me.
Right. So that's what's going on now.
So Leandre, what Dynas is
Because the
saying is
thing is,
that
sorry to interrupt, because with
go ahead, no.
FHA, there's a little more red tape, if that makes
It's
sense.
Yeah, I get
it's
what you're saying.
that
Yeah.
Leandre, what he's saying is that if you walk in there with an FHA of money from the government and they look at Hustle Smart, where I make over 300,000 a year and I got the money, they can show where I made the money, where I every year I'm putting escrow in. I'm doing escrow every week. They can show that. They can show. I can show escrow. I can show my savings. I can show my checking. And if you think I'm lying about my credit score, Dynas, tell Leandre what my credit score is.
I gotta look it up, but he sends me his tricking fund
So when you bought
screenshots
your
from time
home,
to time.
Dynas, did you have a low interest rate on the loan?
Yeah. So when I
Yeah.
got my home, I refinanced, and so my interest rate now is like maybe like 3%.
Oh, okay.
3%. But Leandre, that's not the interest rate today. The interest rate today, damn near 7%.
Yeah, I know it went up. Yeah, it went up right now.
So hold on. What you think the interest rate is going to be with the government? If the government is giving away 25,000, the feds is going to jack the interest rate up again. See, that's the part. I'm telling you, Leandre, this is just what I hate about black people. We like to throw out the razzle and dazzle. We don't like to talk about the stuff under the statement. And I'm telling you, bro, that the houses that you would only have to have 25,000 for, you're not gonna want that house, bro. And you're gonna be staying in a neighborhood with a bunch of women, with a whole bunch of kids that's getting subsidized from the government. You get what I'm saying? That's where it's gonna be at. That's not gonna be the end all be all. And then so with Dynas,
And Dre, if I get interject, Dre, he's right. So when I first moved into where I live, like the houses that weren't bandos were damn near all Section 8.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Now
what I'm saying,
I don't know. I don't think there's even one Section 8 house now in my neighborhood.
So what they did was, Leandre, they started pushing those because people start wanting to come back to the city. They start pushing those Section 8 to the houses on the outskirts that's ran down. That's where the market is gonna be. But so when I come up, Leandre, when I step up and they see me and they're gonna see you with an FHA loan plus 25,000, they're gonna be like, he can't afford this. Listen, let me explain it to you like this. Leandre, if you getting any type of help from the government to get your houses, a bank is not gonna help you get a $300,000-$400,000 house because they see you ain't got the money to pay for it straight up. See, it's one of those things to what most banks look for. If you want a house, a nice house, they want you to be like this, Leandre. If you don't go get the money, it don't get got. If you don't go get it, and you don't eat, not with no help. I couldn't show the house that I'm in right now. I couldn't show no help from nobody because of the one buyer, the one person that owned all the houses. Everybody in this neighborhood, nobody. These are all people that self-made. Most people in my neighborhood is retired. I've been staying next door to this lady for like 10 years, Leandra. I don't even know her name. Don't even know her name. All the time I see her is on Monday when we walk outside to put our trash. Some type of way we go get our trash can at the same time. You don't see no kids walking around over here. It's retired military, retired people that work in that were supervisors or whatever that's retired and stuff over here. I'm like one of the youngest people out here. And I'm telling you that's the type of money that I had to put down 30%. 30%, bro.
Hey guys, we got to close out. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. But till next time, family, Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Peace.
We gone.